Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Wealthy Workshop Leader Panel. I am so thrilled to be here with you. Congratulations for joining us today. We have over 3,000 of you signed up to be with us live from all over the globe. We've had over 25,000 of you consuming the videos and taking the What Type of Workshop Leader Are You quiz over the last week or so. And I couldn't be more thrilled. I've been excited about this all week. I have some incredible fellow colleagues and just really skilled, wise, and talented event facilitators and speakers and workshop leaders that are going to be joining me over the next few hours. So I invite you to sit back, to relax, to grab a cup of tea, and to just cozy in with us. Grab your pen and paper so you can take notes, because there's really no better teaching if you aspire to lead your own events, or if you already do and you're looking to take those events to the next level. And if you're ready to really use live events as a way to open up access to more potential clients and more transformation and contribution on the planet, there's no better way to really master your own craft than by learning from some of the best luminaries in the industry. And we have them all together right here in one place. So I just want to say thank you, Ocean. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to say to those of you who are listening in and catching the replay, the world is waiting for your gift. Your clients are waiting for you. Before I pass it over to do a little bit of an interview with Ocean, I want to let you know that in addition to the amazing Ocean Robbins, we have Derek Rydell, who's a spiritual mentor, coming on today. We have Rika Zimmerman, who's an incredible self-love expert. We have Claire Zammit, who's leading a new feminine power movement, reaching hundreds of thousands of women around the globe. We have Marcy Shimoff, who's best-selling author of Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul. And we have Justin Livingston, who's an incredible professional coach and a multi-seven-figure consultant to many of the top entrepreneurs in the industry. So you're going to have both traditional practical advice, and you're going to have very sort of spiritual, energetic wisdom that's going to be coming through today. And for those of you that don't know, my dear, dear, dear friend, Ocean Robbins, he's the co-founder and the CEO of the Food Revolution Network. Ocean's reaching over 350,000 people around the globe, bringing a message of healthy eating for all. He's also the co-author with his father, John Robbins, of Voices of the Food Revolution. And he's been leading people his entire life. He started a nonprofit when he was 16 years old, and Ocean has spoken in person to more than 200,000 people in over 65 nations. Ocean, it is just such an honor to be here with you today.
I'm thrilled to be with you and with this incredible community of people who are passionate about changing the world and about making a living changing the world, and about learning how to bring people together and create spaces of healing and transformation and growth and learning and connection that truly serve life on this planet. I think it's awesome. I love that you're doing this. I love that you're convening these folks, and I love that I get to contribute, hopefully, some input here today.
Yay! And welcome to all of you.
I think that live events are just so powerful because they are a place where in real time we get to actually interact. And in this world that has become so dominated by iPhones and computers and technology, we often live in a kind of virtual world, right? And live events enable us to combine body, mind, heart, and spirit in real-time interaction with other people. There's study after study showing us that social interaction, feeling of connection is fundamental to health, to well-being, to longevity. And this is also a place where you can actually transform lives. You can create a landmark event that shifts the course of someone's entire destiny through the convergence of a whole person presence in community with others. Yes. So I love that we get to explore together how you can use live events in your business. And I want to say that Sage is such a guide and mentor on this. I've been on stage with her several times, and she's got to be one of the most skilled event facilitators that I know. She's transformed the lives of thousands of women in her entrepreneurial women's retreats. Not only does she make close to $1 million from stage just when she makes an offer sometimes, but more importantly, she transforms the lives of women in the room. In fact, it was because of her speaking skills that the publisher Hay House just recognized her as an expert in this field and picked up her book, Women Rocking Business, which is coming out in September, to be one of their featured titles. And for those of you who are curious about using events to grow your business, I think Sage is just an amazing mentor to help you do so effectively. And Sage, I'm just thrilled that we get to have this time and that your wisdom gets to be shared with everybody who's here right now.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so cool to be here with you live. We have over 500 people watching live right now, and more people are hopping on every moment. And I want to know who you are. And thank you, Ocean, so much for those kind words. I just invite you guys to type into the chat, where are you from and what kind of workshops are you wanting to lead? So that we can just get to know each other. So just type in below, where are you from and what kind of workshops are you wanting to lead? And I know, Ocean, we've got you here at the beginning of this live stream, and we also have you at the end. You're sort of hosting us here. You're sort of bookending the live stream. But during those first few minutes that we have you, I know that you've used so many different strategies to grow the Food Revolution Network. And I know that you've now been speaking at events all over. I know you've flown to Hawaii to speak. I know you've been to Washington, D.C. And, I just want to know, what's your take on live events and particularly using events as a way to reach more people and grow a business that we can rest into, because being an entrepreneur is so risky. There's so many risks that we take as business owners. And why do you think live events are, why do you recommend them to people?
Well, I think one of the questions a lot of people ask me is, like, in this online era, with the internet having changed so many things, what's the relevance of live events now, right? And I would just look at my kids as an example. They're 16 years old. They've totally grown up in the world of technology, and they love going to concerts. Aww. With real artists and real people in a stadium where they can feel the energy and everyone's cheering, and it's just part of that experience of connection and belonging, right? And it's like so much, they can own a CD and they can listen to it 1,000 times. You go to an event just once for a couple hours with an artist and you're seeing them from way back, and yet it's completely different. They can watch that artist on TV or on YouTube for free anytime they want, right? And see close-ups of their face. But when you're actually in the room and you actually feel people, it changes things. And so what I would, and similarly, like we can have, Facebook chats and texts and all kinds of ways of interacting with people. But when you want a real relationship, you want to be with somebody in person sometimes, right? You want to feel them. You want to be able to look in their eyes. There's some kind of exchange and intimacy that can happen in the flesh that is unique. So I would say that in this day and age, we have a world where many people are focusing on breadth, on reaching large numbers of people. And you can do that online. In the Food Revolution Network, we've accomplished a lot in that regard with hundreds of thousands of members. But at the same time, we also need depth. We also need the ability to drop in with people. And I think in a world where there's more and more focus on, I would say, superficiality and on kind of trivial contact, I think that when you choose to create meaningful, real human connection, you actually stand out. You actually create an antidote to today's technology-obsessed world to bring us back, to rehumanize us with more of who we are. We are fundamentally tribal creatures. We thrive best in community and in relationship, and sometimes many of us even know ourselves best when we see ourselves in relationship to others. Mm-hmm. So when you convene a gathering of people who are converged for a common purpose, because they want to learn, to grow, to share, to develop, there is a kind of social proof. There is a kind of interactive juiciness that can unfold that is completely impossible to create through any other mechanism. I think that real deep change often requires a kind of intimacy, a kind of connection.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. Can I add on one thing to what you're saying?
Yeah.
I want to really underline this point because I know, especially for you women out there, we have some incredible women joining us today, and women, I think, too, hold this space of transformation. We have the opportunity to hold this space of transformation. And for those of you men that are here, you're coming from a heartful place. That's why you're attracted to this message. Now, I want to underline the healing that Ocean's talking about is possible in your room, and definitely write this down because this is something that you can use to create contexts, to create the context in your rooms. The healing that we're seeking from times in our life when things didn't go our way, right? Somebody hurt us. Our parents didn't do the best job that they could do. We lost a loved one. Those moments when life kind of instilled wounds and pain in us, those things happened in three-dimensional live human-to-human relationships. And the world is hungry for healing. The world is hungry for transformation. And yet, so often we turn to books and online courses to heal us. But those wounds got inflicted in real live human to human interactions. And so I have found that it's actually in real live human to human interactions that the healing can happen. Wouldn't you agree, Osh?
I would. I would. And I would also say that when we, as a leader, when you are in real live time interaction with people, you get real time instant feedback on how you're being received. You see people's facial expressions. You see what makes people tear up. You see what makes them laugh and smile. You see when they're getting bored and losing interest, when they need a break. If you're just presenting in a broadcast structure, say online or something, you're totally guessing about whether anyone's even paying attention at all, right? So it can be really good as a leader to develop your skill set in real interaction. And if you ever are going to take something sort of to the masses, if you're ever going to write a book, if you're ever going to do podcasts, if you're ever going to communicate one-way stream, right? You'll be so much smarter and so much sharper and so much better informed if you've sharpened your craft and your message in real interaction with getting real-time feedback.
God, I could not agree more. I could not agree more. So you guys, let's make that tip number one, because I promised you 7 tips over the next few hours. And I know you're taking notes. I also want to welcome the amazing Derek Rydell. He just hopped on. Hi, Derek. Woo! We're going to be with Derek in just a moment, but I want to just really underline this first tip, which is that live events are the ultimate transformation. They provide the ultimate transformation in the lives of your clients. And healing is possible that's not going to be possible in any other venue and any other form of communication, whether it's online or over the phone. You're just not going to have that same transformation and that same immediate feedback when you're virtual with people. So again, jot this down. This is tip number one. Live events provide the ultimate transformation. And when you're inviting people into an event, you're going to want to let people know, hey, this is an opportunity to get the content on an entirely different level than you would get it if I were to teach it over the phone or over a video on camera, right? And you want to let people know that because people can feel the truth of that. Ocean, as we say goodbye to you, I know we're going to be back with you in about an hour and a half. What's one last thought you can leave us with?
Yeah, so I think that for a lot of people who think about live events, the big question is, well, who will anybody show up?
Yep.
It's terrifying to think of spending money, booking a conference hall, spending all this work, and then you don't know how to get anyone to come, right? Yep. And it ties into feelings of fear of rejection. And we go back to junior high and we're like, I don't want to invite anybody to have lunch with me because they might say no, right? And so what I want to say is that, Sage, I think one of your brilliances is in helping people to crack that code by breaking down the simple step-by-step process to have live events that actually succeed. So you actually have people there in the room and you are able to build them and monetize them, right? So it's like you want great content, you want a great mission and purpose, you also want to be able to market it effectively and have a strategy for success. And that's what today's all about. So stay tuned, everybody. Keep listening. You're going to learn a ton and you're in good hands.
Thank you so much, Ocean. It's been a delight to have you. I know everybody's really grateful for you. And thank you for hopping back on in about an hour and a half. We'll see you in a little bit. And I really want to underline what Ocean is saying is that I am passionate about helping you butts in seats. I'm sort of a butts in seats kind of girl, because if you don't have butts in seats, you don't have anybody to, you know, transform. So if you have not been digesting the video training, if you've just joined us in the last 24 hours because you heard about this live stream, welcome. If you're brand new into our world, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And you can check out a 3-part video training at eventsthatchangelives.com. That's www.eventsthatchangelives.com. You can head over there and take our quiz. What type of workshop leader are you? And then you'll get invited into a 3-part video training. And the second video is all about how to get butts in seats. So be sure to dive into that content today. And Shannon, before I intro Derek, can you let us know where are some of our incredible listeners from? What's happening over on the chat? I'm blind over here because I'm on Google Hangout.
Hey everyone, this is so exciting to be here. We have people from all over. We have, let's see, Cassandra from Boulder, Colorado, Stephanie Larson from St. Louis, Kathleen Starr from Northern California. We have Audrey from San Luis, Salt Lake City. Bill, hello everyone.
South how exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This goes on.
So exciting. And I'm so totally inspired and lit up by the workshops that are going to be happening in the next few months as a result of some of the tips that you're getting today. Workshops all over the country and all over the world. We've had thousands of folks take advantage of our webinars the last few days, and we've had folks in the Channel Islands, in Brazil, and Australia. And this is one of my favorite things that I get to do all year. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
Derek, thank you so much for being here. I know you're a busy man, and I just want to absolutely celebrate you. And I can't wait to hear a little bit about your event and welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay, Sage?
Yeah, you look great.
So good. I'm gonna have to struggle through this interview to not just be transfixed by your beauty and just want to like get down and groove, because I miss you and it's so good to see you.
I know, it's been so long since we got to hang out in person. As you know, I adore you. And
you're my soul sister.
Oh, for those of you that don't know Derek, I want to just really give you just a quick taste of who he is. Derek teaches something called the law of emergence, and he's taught tens of thousands of people, including myself, to know that you are the perfect you. Derek brings a medicine inside of himself, and he helps his participants and his students really throw aside the self-help books and get really real with the truth that we have everything that we need inside of ourselves. And so Derek's events, as you can imagine, are oriented around deep transformational work and healing. And I supported him a little bit with his last event. And what I heard were like these miracles, these like healing miracles were happening in the room. And, people that were struggling with health conditions were like instantly healed. And Derek, can you just share with us, those who are on the line that really, our hearts are in such the right place. We want to make a difference with live events. What are some of the biggest tips you can give us to kind of set us on a course of?
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, first of all, you were not just a little help; you were a massive help. I can't even imagine my live event having happened without your help and support.
It was such an honor.
And I'm not exaggerating, like literally, you pretty much took me by the hand and picked me up off the floor when I was like, I'm scared.
I know how that feels. It's terrifying, let's be honest.
Yeah,
all that energy and attention is coming your way.
Yeah, and like Ocean was saying, I had the ghost of, I'm going to throw a party and nobody's going to show up. I think it was from that episode of the Brady Bunch years ago where Greg or whoever threw a birthday party and then nobody came, and he's just sitting there with a little hat on his head blowing the little thing. And I think that impacted me so deeply. I traumatized that I was always afraid of doing it. But in my first live event that I ever did, I think I had 10 people. And, so there's the fear that nobody's going to show up. But, some of the greatest speakers and greatest events, they started off and they had just a couple people or one person. I've heard of people showing up and there's like one person, and a lot of crickets.
Oh, it's happened to me, and it's happened to my clients. Absolutely. And
the important thing to know is that as I just kept doing it, my last event had almost 300 people at it. And yeah, people showed up with canes and danced down the aisles without them. People showed up who were complete shut-ins, hadn't even been outside of their home in the light for like 2 years, and showed up, with all covered up and dark glasses and barely able to show. And by the end, were completely open, dancing, like true transformation, because you create a sacred crucible, an immersive experience where all the stuff that normally comes up, where people can then distract themselves and go do something else, you've created a container where they can have really accelerated breakthroughs and insights, whether it's intellectual, spiritual, mental, emotional, business. It's an experience that has a geometric progression of transformation. So that was one of the biggest experiences of the live event.
Oh, I can feel, like, I just get choked up when you start to talk about it. I mean, I can feel the medicine that's in that room. I mean,
Yes.
People coming with canes and dancing down the aisles, that's like years of therapy. And, that's been my experience too, is when you gather that many people in a room who are all doing the work alongside each other, you create, I love that word, sacred crucible.
Yes.
There's a vortex of healing and medicine that's now available, and miracles can happen.
Yeah, and there's certain principles that get activated. There's where two or more are gathered in agreement, the higher pattern of possibility gets activated. You literally create a new agreement, a new attractor field, and you break agreements with the outside world. And so in that container, really miracles can happen, because the power of a collective together agreeing upon a vision and a possibility literally overrides so many years of programming and all the contracts you signed about what's not possible, what you can't do. When you come together, that just blows that wide open. And that's one of the reasons why live events can truly can be, a quantum shift. And then you also, if you're building a community, it's one of the most important ways to solidify and build a real base for your community. And then those people go back out into your virtual community, and now they're like mouthpieces and mavens, and they're on fire, and they've got their candle lit, and they go out in the community, and it ends up sparking everybody else in your community. And pretty soon you've got a stronger, more connected, community that doesn't want to leave you, and that they really find this as their family and their home. And so live events aren't just about the event and even the healing at the event. It's something that is necessary to really build a real strong community, especially in today's virtual world. You've got to have that as a piece if you want to build a real strong, sustainable, connected community.
I love what you just said, that we actually ignite mavens with the bigger message that we're bringing to then go out into the world and solidify this platform that we're building, upon which we can bring our message, we can write our books, we can reach people online, and we can really change the world with the medicine that we're here to bring. And for any of you that are caught in the comparison game right now, I just really want to emphasize that Derek has his exactly perfect for him medicine. I bring my own medicine, and so do you. You bring your own medicine in a way that only you can bring. So, just in case, I'm sure this was not happening for any of you, but just in case you were falling into the comparison game, I want you to remember that there's only one you, and really that's the heart of your message, Derek. So what would you say to somebody who might be doubting their ability to get out there?
Yeah, I would say totally normal. I've been pretty much terrified and doubting every time I either did a live event or a launch or the next thing. And the reason you're scared and terrified is because you haven't done it yet. And so you're at the threshold. And it's important to know that if you wait to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel convenient, you will be waiting forever, because what you're waiting for, you're actually waiting with, and you're weighing it down. And so if you want something more to come into your life, you have to let more life come out of you. And if you step into the sense of like safety or freedom or trust that you are waiting for, it's not actually going to come until you step into that. You know, I was terrified. I was terrified even down to the moment, is anybody going to show up, and waiting back room to even go on stage. And then, you know, sure enough, I go out and the room's full and I get on stage, and within moments, you know, life is just amazing, but you have to step into it, you know, and when you, the things you're waiting for, the sense of confidence and all those things, that comes. It's like saying, I don't want to climb that mountain until I know what's on the other side. Well, you're not going to know until you climb the mountain. Or it's like sitting in your driveway looking at your GPS and say, well, I'll get moving as soon as I know what all the turns are going to be. But you're not going to know that until you start driving. It's not going to give you the next step. So wherever you are, if you have a burning desire to take it to the next level, that desire actually comes from a root that means of the sire or of the father or of the creative principle. It's an indication that it's already in you. It's not a sign of something out there that you have to go get. It's a sign of something that you're pregnant with that you have to let out. So if you have a desire to put on a live event, even though you might be terrified, that's already the proof that there's a live event trying to emerge in you. And when you step out on it and you do the work and endeavor and commit to it, no matter what, you're going to develop character and capacities and confidence that you cannot develop otherwise. So you're in for an incredible treat, an incredible expansion of possibility. Not to mention live events are just a very powerful accelerator for your whole business as well. You know, so it's practical, it's transformational, it's amazing, you know.
You're speaking the word. You are speaking the word. I get goosebumps every time you talk. And I just have to say that to be on the line right now with you, Derek, and with you, Rika Zimmerman, who just joined us, I feel like I'm bookended by like my favorite two spiritual teachers.
Right?
Like I could do anything with the two of you by my side. You're like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, like cheering me on. And I just really want to underline what you just shared, Derek. Your ability to encapsulate the courage that we can draw upon when we're willing to step out before the confidence comes is absolutely the big take-home message here, because there's no amount of inner work that you can do. There's no amount of EFT tapping or affirmations or hypnotherapy that you're going to be able to do to substitute you just doing exactly what Derek invited you to do, which is just step out. You know, Derek, I'm so grateful for your transparency that you admit to us that you have been nervous and afraid and anxious every step of the way. And I told my clients on the webinar yesterday, me too. You know, I've been nervous and terrified and freaked out every step of the way. And that's one of the reasons why we need each other. It's one of the reasons why we're so absolutely blessed to have every single one of you gathered here as a tribe to really be stepping out and stepping into your events together. So Derek, thank you so much. I encapsulated your tip, your live event tip, as the reminder that there are certain miracles that can only happen in that sacred crucible that we create when we gather a bunch of people to do the work alongside of each other. And we ignite mavens of the bigger medicine and the bigger message that we're bringing that can then help us get our message and spread the love and the healing into the world. Derek, is there any last wisdom you want to share?
Yeah. Hi, Rika. I say one other last thing, you know, it's a way to think about a live event. A lot of times we think about like, I got to fill a bunch, you know, I got to just go out there and do a big thing and fill a bunch of seats and do it all really fast. And one of the things I learned, and I learned from you too, Sage, is, you know, it's like when I first got my first book deal, my publisher said, it's not about selling a lot of books, it's about selling one book at a time. And so I took the attitude of creating a portfolio of ways to fill the event. And you gave me a ton of ways. And then just methodically, one day at a time, one person at a time, enrolling. And seeming like from nothing to hundreds of people, it was really just one at a time. So sometimes you might get a big burst, but if you have that commitment and that consistency of just continuing to have the conversation and continuing to enroll people just one person at a time, then you will develop the momentum and create an event that is full of amazing people. So don't think it has to be this big thing and you have to know how to do all these big things, even though I know you're teaching that, Sage. But it's the commitment to doing whatever it takes and staying the course, one person at a time, and you will fill your event, and you will transform your life. And again, you cannot know who you're going to become and what your work and business is going to become until you climb that first mountain. You won't be able to see what's on the other side. And the last thing I'll just say is, in times of struggle and challenge, that's where we develop our resourcefulness. Yep. So, your willingness to dig in and to discover what's really in you and your capacity by putting on a live event, facing your fears, and doing the work, it's going to expand your character, which ultimately will transform your destiny. I mean, it's much more than just a live event. It's really a transformational experience.
God, I could not agree more. I could not agree more. And Derek, I think I met you right after my first few events in my living room. I had like 8 women or 12 women in my living room on purple couches. And if you had told me 4 years ago that this company was going to grow to be $1 million company and I was going to be reaching 75,000 women around the world, I would have been like, you're crazy. Like, I'm pretty happy with my 12 women in the living room.
Exactly.
And, I've had the experience where I've showed up and 2 people have showed up, or I've showed up and no people have showed up.
Yeah.
And one of the things that my clients have experienced is they'll do an event, and whether one person shows up or 2 people show up, they'll actually have like the one person that showed up end up hiring them and becoming their top client. Because that person got so much, attention and intimacy, and or nobody will show up and then they'll get a call the next day from somebody that saw the fact that they were doing an event, and that person will hire them on the spot. I missed you at the bookstore last night. What do you do? Oh my God, that's what I need. Can I hire you? And so I just want to say that even the intention to lead the event in the first place is going to put you in a different stratosphere. And Derek, I'm so awesome. Grateful. I'm grateful for every word that you shared. Thank you so much for being here.
I love you, Sage. I love you, Rika.
I love you,
Derek. And I love all of you that are watching. Yeah. Love to all of you. Go for it.
It's like a reunion.
All right.
So we want you guys posting on the chat thread below. What's the biggest thing you got out of Derek's share? Let's start like a running note-taking guide. And what's the biggest thing you're walking away with from hearing about Derek? And you can look him up at Derek Rydell, and he's got some great free gifts online. I highly recommend, if you're not already following Derek online, get on his newsletters, because every single time you send anything out, Derek, it's just full of your magic and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Love you. Rika Zimmerman, it's the Goddess Power Unite. How are you, my love?
Oh, I am excited and thrilled to be here with Sage Levine. Oh my gosh. This woman empowering, hundreds of thousands of women around the world to have highly successful businesses, to transform the world, and to really show up in their amazingness, to have these magnificent lives. So thank you so much, Sage. It is an honor to be here with you.
Oh my gosh, you're a goddess. For those of you that don't know Rika, she is an absolute leader in consciousness. In fact, Rika is the one that has helped me actually learn to love myself. Some of you might not know my personal sort of story, but I've been divorced and dating for the last 4 years. And I have finally arrived at a place where I am absolutely in love with myself and not feeling incomplete because I don't have a husband right now. And it is in large part because of Rika's work. Rika's also an incredible musician, singer, songwriter, and has led her own events for thousands of luminaries and visionaries around the world. I've been in Rika's room, and Rika, you create magic unlike any other woman I have seen on stage. So what would you say to some of our incredible listeners who are looking to lead their own events and they're feeling trepidation, or they want to create that magic, and what do you wish you had known when you first started out?
Well, I loved what Derek said about, feeling the fear, doing it anyway, that that every time you expand into something greater, you're never going to be ready. So like just accepting, okay, cool, I'm never going to be ready and I'm doing it anyway, right? And one of the biggest things that I found is that I have gone from, stage fright, not being able to breathe, not being able to speak, not being able to sing, not being able to, like, I've gone from being completely shell-shocked, okay, and then figured out a way to actually open up to allowing that love and that powerful energy that was trying to come through to actually guide me. So one of the things that I just recommend for you guys highly is to let go of control. When you are in a state of trying to control the energy of the audience, trying to make a specific outcome, trying to lead people in a particular direction, you're not working with the energy of God and love and bringing them, working with the energy of the room. You're actually trying to control the energy of the room, and it's going to cause stage fright. It's going to cause trepidation. It's going to cause fear. It's going to make you not comfortable, right? So what I found is stage fright and orgasm are like one step away from each other.
I love that we're talking about orgasm. I really couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more.
Yes, and the stage fright turns into orgasm and bliss and ecstasy and like if you just let go of control, right? So when you have the controls in place, it turns into anxiety, fear, and there's a reason, okay?
Yep.
So when you get up in front of people, you are being a conduit of love, a conduit of energy, a conduit of God.
Yep.
Okay. Whole bunches of energy coming through, like, oh my God, it's happening. Okay. If you try to control it, it's gonna feel like anxiety, stage fright. If you let go of control and give yourself over to the energy like a lover, like, universe, love, have your way with me. Do me. Okay, open, expand your system out. What happens is you become a big enough vessel of love to actually give what God or love is here to give to the room. So it's letting go of control, you guys. Giving yourself over to the energy.
True. It's so true. And you're speaking into something that I've been just intuitively teaching my clients since the beginning, which is I actually teach them to feel their pussies. I literally teach them to feel their own orgasmic energy. I ask them, can you feel your sexuality right now while you're on stage? And usually as soon as they get on stage, they're like cut off from like the chest down. Right. And as soon as we actually start running that pleasure, as soon as we actually ignite those lower chakras, we can let go and become a channel. And one of the things I know you do so well, Rika, and that I really want to articulate for our live streamers today is that subtle thing that we learn how to do inside of ourselves when we're feeling like we're locked down in fear. And like you said, you found this way to open it up. And I'm imagining it's a little bit different for every, for every one of us. It's a bit different how we use our breath. What do we say to ourselves? How do we coax ourselves through that fear to sort of become the channel of universal energy? But I feel like that's something that you're a master in. Can you say more about that?
Absolutely. And I love that you connect people with their pussy stage. Seriously, like it gets you grounded, it gets you present, it opens up your energy system. If you can get connected to that, you will be the conduit of love that you are, because that's that place where when you're present with it, you feel safe. When you're not present with it, you don't feel safe. And it's hard to be yourself when you don't feel safe, right? So that's one version of the same thing that I'm talking about, right? Giving your energy over to love. Now, a lot of people have a misunderstanding that the fear or the anxiety or the energy that they're feeling is a bad thing. Huge misunderstanding. It is not a bad thing at all. Guess what it actually is? It's the divine self that you are that's fully connected to God coming in.
Wow.
It's something to be welcomed. It's like, oh my God, yes, do me. Woo, I can feel that, right? And as you let go of control and give yourself over to that which is good, which is beautiful, which is divinity coming through, like completely lose your sense of controlling the event, controlling your energy, controlling their energy. Give yourself over like a lover, and you'll be in orgasmic bliss. And to tell you the truth, every time I get on any kind of a live stage or TV or anything, I usually spend the first maybe 30 seconds to 2 minutes laughing.
Oh, it's such a smart thing to do. It just connects you up with your pleasure, right? Like
exactly. Well, and the truth is, I can't do anything else. Okay, there is so much energy. There's so much energy. There's so much energy coming through. I'm in such bliss and I'm in such ecstasy that I'm like, hey, how are you guys doing? Great. We're here. Woo! Yes. And right now, energetically, I'm literally having sex with the entire universe. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm barely able, so orgasmic, barely able to speak. Right? And so give yourself a break. You don't have to come out and go, here's what we're going to do. You can come out and be yourself. Like, there's no mistake in how you're being. There's no mistake in the energy that's coming through you, right? So flow with it, enjoy it, play with it. Everybody wants you in your authentic state, which is in the moment, present, being yourself, uncontrolled, letting the universe have its way with you. Like, that's when the coolest, most miraculous stuff happens.
It is so true. It's so true. And it's inspiring to me to know that we don't have to try to do it like someone else. We can just do it our way. So for those of you that are watching Rika right now and you're like, yeah, I want to get on stage and just be free like Rika. Awesome. And for those of you that are watching Rika and you're maybe more of an introvert, and you're like, whoa, she's crazy. She's like doing herself on the screen, right? I just want to say that the point of Rika's medicine is that she's giving us all permission to just do it our way. Yeah. The world needs leaders who are quieter and more subtle, and the world needs leaders that are unleashed. The world needs the whole spectrum. Totally. And Rika, one of the things that you taught me when I was in your room, you might not know this, but you actually taught me to use the energy in my favor. You said, picture a waterfall of energy behind the participants and pull energy through all of your participants and into your own heart and let it connect you and, fill you up and then send it back out to them. And it creates this energetic relationship in the room. And I've been doing that ever since, and I've been teaching it to some of my clients. And I know that it's a big part of what creates magic in the room. So can you expand on that? And just, I want to just understand, like, where did it come from and how can our listeners use a similar exercise in their rooms?
Absolutely. And just so you know, too, like the most famous people, the most successful people, they do this automatically. And when you're feeling great, when you're feeling magical, when you're feeling like yesness of, like Tony Robbins, when you're feeling that like full on, you're doing it automatically. So this is actually happening in your life whenever you're feeling great, whenever you're like, yes, I'm in this moment and I love it. So to turn this on so that you can actually consciously contribute to it and realize what you're doing and then just, be able to choose it. Like Sage said, just imagine that there's like a river of energy and it's coming from all over the universe. So it's an infinite energy. There's no lack of energy. An infinite energy that's flowing through them and through you. And then as it comes through you, that waterfall comes back and connects with that river that's infinite, joins it even further, so it's an even bigger build of energy. So it's just the imagining, and it's also the receiving, okay? You've ever watched musicians where you watch them and you go, oh my God, I'm so in love with this musician. It's because they're actually doing that energy pull, and they don't even maybe realize it. And then you've seen maybe, so let me just do this right now with you guys because I've started to do it, and I'll just pull even more energy. There we go, all the way through you, through me, and then I'll lapse it back to you, and then I'll pull it through you. And so in energetic sense, I'm feeling you, and I'm feeling the universal energy, and I'm pulling that beautiful light and that love through your bodies and through me, and then folding it back and bringing even more. There we go. Yeah, you can feel that, right? And it's beginning to feel like, God, this is captivating and magical, and I feel so close to her, and you know what, I love this woman. I don't know, right? That creates that effect. It's pulling that energy. Whenever you fall in love with somebody, this is what you do to them naturally. You look at their eyes and go, Oh my God, you are the vision of love that is the yes. Oh, like you found that, right? So all of you already know how to do this, and you're already doing it in your life. And now you can do it consciously, which allows people to instantly feel connected to you. It allows people to love you, to fall into your field. And, the trick about it is that you have to be willing to receive. Like, as I pull it through you, I can feel my vagina, right? I can feel my solar plexus expanding. I can feel my whole body going, oh my God, I'm so in love. Oh, just so the more you're willing to receive, the more that they receive. And that's really the truth, is that you're being an example of receiving. And that's what everybody needs in order to expand their life anyhow.
It's so yummy. It's really delightful. And one of the things you're speaking to that I feel is so important for those of us who are leaders, we're being called into more visibility. We're being called into more vulnerability. And it's a lot of energy. It can feel very scary. You're speaking to this concept that I learned through my other mentor, Reverend Deborah Johnson, that the only thing that we ever really need to heal is that sense of separation. And what I know is that before we get on stage, when we feel that feeling of fear, for me personally, it's a reminder that I'm not different from the people in the audience. I'm not better and I'm not worse. It actually keeps me humble. It keeps me connected. And I don't know about you, but I oftentimes feel fear as like a tightness in my chest. It's a reminder to actually put my hand on my heart, put my hand on my belly, feel my body, and get in to this energetic flow that Rika is guiding us through, because there's nothing wrong with that fear. Jerry Seinfeld says the number one fear of Americans is public speaking. That means that most of us would rather be laying in the casket than giving the eulogy, which is kind of crazy. So for us to really get out of any story that there's anything wrong because of all the energy that we feel when we're about to get on stage or step out there, and to let it be a part of the experience. Let your energetic container almost expand with all of those physiological sensations, and then we can actually include the people that we're meant to contribute to in our energy field. It's like, instead of shrinking in the face of all of that, we open up to it. And you're such a teacher of that, Rika. I absolutely love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. One of the other secrets that would be great to sort of bring forward, or just give people permission to have this also, is just so you know, I don't plan any event ever. I have no preparation. I have no PowerPoint. I have no idea what is going to come through. Like, it is all completely open. Now, for some people, that might be like, oh, whoa, there's no way, right? But I want to give you guys permission. For the people that feel like planning it is too difficult. It's like, I don't know, what are we going to talk about? It's too, like, if I planned something, I would be extremely nervous about it, because I'd be in this place of, here's what I've already seen, and here's how I'm going to try to control it into what I've already envisioned, the energy I already want to happen. All of that is much too much separation for me personally, and much too much reality to put into the space. So I just want to offer you guys that possibility, that what if you could actually do live events and have no agenda and nothing that you know that you want to say or deliver. And instead, what do you deliver? Well, which you already know everything and already are everything, right? And you stay connected to your divine self to continue the opening. So in a way, in my classes, I'm just as much of a student of the divine as I am a teacher. I'm listening and going, oh my God, did you guys get that? And then I'm stepping back from myself going, oh my God, this is amazing. Did you feel what just came through? Oh, that's going to change everything for us. Yes. So it's this interesting, that's how I run events, right?
I love it. I love it. I love that you're bringing in this more magical way of being. And for those of you who want to create events where you have that space to channel, I absolutely am behind you on that. And the format that I teach is, I teach us to find where we are on that spectrum of planning. Some of us are planners. Some of us are spontaneous.
Yeah.
And I actually think there's this middle ground where you can have an outline and you can have a sense of where you're going, and you have your intro, you have your outro, you have your offer, and you have this outline, but you leave enough space within that outline for exactly what Rika's talking about, which is the magic that happens when you leave a little bit of space for what wants to happen in the room. And it's so interesting. I'm a planner, so I feel much more comfortable having an outline, but it's so interesting when I go in to plan my events, Rika, there's always several sections that are completely ambiguous. Like when I tap into God, I can't get a read on what it's supposed to be. Like the universe will not let me create slides. The universe will not let me create a story. And I just now have learned to trust in doing this for 10 years. Oh, that's when the magic's going to come through.
I love it.
You know, last year, during one of those sections last year, we ended up pulling this single African-American woman on stage who's a single mom, 2 jobs. We pulled her up on stage, and the 2 of us did this piece together that resulted in the audience raising over $7,000 for her to invest in business training, including through me. And she was in tears, and the whole audience was coming to the front of the stage with $100 bills falling out of their hands. And like, I couldn't have planned that. Like there's no little, you know, there's no part of my brain that could have figured out how to make something like that happen. So I really, really want to underline the wisdom that Rika's bringing through right now, is that the power of live events is that you leave enough space for the magic to come through. And that requires trusting yourself, right? That requires like a deep self-love and a deep self-trust. And before I say a few words about leading events, and, you know, I know many of you are ready to lead events and sort of take the next step. I want to let you know how you can get support leading live events. We've already had over 300 workshop leaders graduate from one of our training programs. It's called Leading Events That Change Lives. And something that I think really complements that courage that you need to step out and lead live events is this cultivation of self-love. And I know, Rika, you've got a book. Do you have something that you can offer our audience?
I do. And it's an ebook that is amazing. It's got activations in it. It's got tonings. It's got vibrational alignment. Like it's an ebook, so you can click on the link and it'll rock your world. It's quite amazing. And it's at selflovewithsage.com, selflovewithsage.com, and that's free for you guys. So
and Shannon
love yourself. Yes.
Shannon will type that into the chat thread, selflovewithsage.com. And I highly recommend that you go download that ebook. And we'll actually include a few gifts and websites from the speakers and a follow-up email that goes out this afternoon so that you guys can follow up with our speakers, because some of these offerings are so complementary to what it is that you all are doing when you step out there and you say, I'm going to put I'm going to get in front of people and I'm going to, expose my heart and speak my truth. I mean, let's really talk about what you're doing here. You're not peddling a product. You're not peddling, this month's featured magazine. You're peddling your heart. You're literally offering the love and the wisdom and the magic that is you. And so it takes even more self-love than I believe we think is required. And Rika,
absolutely.
I wanna check in with Shannon and hear what's going on in the chat thread. But as we transition here, I just want to ask you what last piece of wisdom would you share to anybody who's thinking about using events to take their business to the next level?
Let's see. I think one of the things that you do so brilliantly is you help people step forward and shine in their greatness. Like, you have an ability to see people into the future that could be if they would just choose it. And since you've done it, I mean, you went from 4 years ago with events with 2 people to now hundreds of people at the event, 7-figure events, like, oh my God, right? So you're being able to see people, see their beauty, see their genius, see that they've already succeeded in this, and that there is a space in this world, and it will be a gift to themselves, the world, and everybody that comes in contact with them. I mean, it's an incredible thing. So I want to urge you guys that the only difference between Sage and I and you is that we chose to take that step. Seriously, like we chose and we choose over and over again to stand and go, I don't know what this is, I don't know how this is gonna, but it's a yes. Like every doubt, every judgment in the entire universe could come up, and guess what we would do? We would go around it and say yes anyway. So that's
true.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to leave with you guys is say yes anyway. And working with Sage, like you may be scared of live events. That means that there's a lot of you that wants to come in as you do them. Like you might be feeling like, no, this is not my program. You know what? If you're in resistance, it is your program. If you're scared, it is your program. And feel into your heart. Do you know somewhere in your heart that you're actually meant for a bigger and greater life? Like you are actually meant to lead the world. And what if in that little space that you can find in your heart, you can realize that Sage will provide you with the safety and the presence and the being seen into that world so that it feels safe to emerge as the leader that you're meant to be. So, you know, say yes to your yes, and every limitation that comes up, every resistance, every fear, and every judgment, go around them. They're not real. They are not real. Okay, you guys?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm just so honored. I'm so humbled. We had over 65 new orders come in the last couple of days for those of you that have jumped into the Events That Change Lives training program. And I want to really congratulate those of you that are saying yes to yourself. Because I think what Rika's speaking into as well is that when you have a community of beings who are taking these bold steps alongside you, you're one decision away from changing your whole life. And I love, Rika, what you said about the only difference between, you know, the tribe and the community and the message that you've now been able to bring to the world, and the tribe and the message that I've been able to bring, is that we made a decision a few years ago to just sort of not think about it, not overthink about it, and just go for it and say, universe, do me. But I know Shannon's gathering the names of some of the last few people that have hopped into Events That Change Lives so that we can congratulate those of you that are hopping into the program. Doors are open. Enrollment is officially open as of yesterday. And as we sign off, Rika Zimmerman, I just want to thank you so much for being the unleashed fairy goddess that you are. I want you on our stage soon. Get your little butt up to the Bay Area so you can rock the world of my clients in person. And you just remind me every day that I don't have to be anything other than Sage Levine, and I'm so grateful.
I love it. And congratulations to those that have just registered. You have graduated from the Matrix. It is no longer going to ever stop you. Seriously, me and Sage just went, we're going around everything. So you just made that choice to go around everything. Congratulations. Your phenomenal life is showing up. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. So thank you so much, Sage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rika Zimmerman. I love you so much. We're going to make sure that we include the link to your self-love book in our chat. And I highly recommend you guys go download that book. Bye, Rika.
Bye, sweetheart. Love you.
Love you. We're about ready to welcome the one and the only Claire Zammit onto the line, but I want to just take a brief moment to hear from those of you who have been interested in joining us for our training. Shannon, how are we doing over there?
We are doing fabulous. I'm personally dancing behind the screen over here. The energy feels so freaking good. And we've just had so many people joining us. The chat thread is going live. Everybody's having their great comments. And we've had Kathleen from Ashland, Oregon, Carol from Washington, D.C. We have Denisa from the Czech Republic, Kate from Ontario, Nicola from UK, Carol from London. We've got so many people here tuned in and loving this conversation.
Congratulations. I'm so excited to support you amazing future workshop leaders and event leaders further. I can't wait to see some of you on the inside of Events That Change Lives. For those of you that want to check out the program, there is a link right underneath the video that's going to take you to the course page so you can see what we're going to be doing over the next 6 weeks. You can see some of the strategies and some of the medicine we're going to be bringing and some of the really proven plans to help you fill your rooms and bring the transformation that you're meant to bring. I want to just do a quick recap. Number one tip to leading live events for those of you that have hopped on in the recent past. Number one tip is that live events are the ultimate transformation because they bring healing that you can't bring in other formats. You know, some of the wounds that we've experienced in our lives, they happened in 3-dimensional relationships. And so we need to invite people in to live rooms in order for that healing to happen, right? So that we can actually be 3-dimensional with other human beings. It accesses a whole nother level of healing. That was Ocean's tip. Number 2 tip from Derek is that miracles happen in that sacred crucible of a live event space, and that when we lead live events, we actually are igniting mavens of our message to then help us carry the healing and the message and the transformation forward. And if you're creating a virtual community, if you're writing a book, leading a live event is going to ignite those leaders who will be with you, helping you get that message out into the world. And the number 3 tip from Rika is to let go of control and connect to pleasure. And I cannot wait to introduce you to our next incredible luminary, the one and the only Claire Zammit. Claire, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hi, Sage. Hi, everyone. And I'm not on video live because I'm up in the mountains and we have had 23 feet of snow in the last 23 days. And our bandwidth and our phone lines. So I should be able to, the audio line should hold, but it's so great to have the opportunity to be here. This is one of my favorite topics to speak about. And I think, you know, I loved everything that you were just sharing about the importance and the significance of the kind of space that we can hold in person for people. So really looking forward to sharing about that today.
Oh my gosh, we're really lucky to have you, Claire. I know that you've been in a huge storm. Claire texted me this picture the other day. I'm showing them the picture, Claire. This is a picture, you guys, of Claire's office. You guys can see the snow.
This
is her second story. So for those of you that are not in touch with what's going on in Tahoe, we've got nothing but snow happening in Tahoe. And we really are so lucky to even have Claire's voice here with us today. And Claire, you know, for those of you that don't know who Claire Zammit is, she's a co-creator of the Feminine Power courses and the co-founder of Evolving Wisdom, which is a multi-million-dollar global online learning company, which offers free programs and features some of today's leading teachers in more than 90 countries. Claire has a doctorate in transformative learning and change from the California Institute of Integral Studies, and she's absolutely one of my favorite mentors in the realms of feminine power and bringing this women's work to the planet. I know we have a bunch of amazing men on the line, and we're not excluding you, we're including you. We know we need our men with huge hearts to be alongside us. But Claire, the magic I've seen you create in your seminar rooms is deeply feminine, and really, I believe you bring an intellect and an understanding of the science behind human connection and feminine values like compassion and generosity and some of these, you know, these core principles that I think are such an important part of what creates magic at live events. What do you wish you had known when you first got started leading live events? And what would you say to those of our live streamers who are getting ready to lead events as a way to grow their businesses?
Gosh, you know, so much. I'm trying, you know, I've been reflecting on this and what I most want to share about this. And I just want everyone to know I started in exactly the place that I know many people are starting here, where, you know, my first workshop, I might have had 1 or 2 paying people, and I had a whole bunch of friends come along so that the paying people wouldn't feel weird. And
Oh,
You know,
I've done it. Yeah. Ask three of your good friends. Could you just come and be in the room? So
exactly
that, you know?
right. Like, so that this kind of feels like it's something. So I'm just saying, like, I really felt, you know, I really, you know, where I am today is not where I started. And I think, you know, so if I kind of step back into those moments, I know that you're speaking about so many of the tools that you need to build your outreach, that you need to be able to enroll and to be able to fill rooms. And you're so brilliant, I think, Sage, at being able to give women access on all of those critical pieces, that, you know, in a way that's really true to our values. Because I think one of the thing is, you know, to self-actualize, to step into our destiny, our leadership, our greatness, we're becoming entrepreneurs and we have to run businesses. But we're not being motivated into business by the same values that traditional entrepreneurship motivates us. So I kind of think of us as fempreneurs in many ways, where we are running businesses in ways that create a context for us to give our gifts and to become ourselves. And, you know, you're such a brilliant mentor at those pieces. I was thinking, you know, what is it that I could really add from my expertise today that's maybe a piece about, I think that, you know, what ultimately enables us to be successful in creating these kinds of transformational spaces, I think, is our ability to create value. I think, you know, all success really comes from the creation of value for participants. So I want to talk about kind of what that is and how it speaks to kind of what's happening right now in the world. And, you know, I definitely am kind of speaking from a perspective of women, because there is something really big happening with women right now, where there is an impulse for millions of people to move to a higher stage of development for self-actualization, for self-realization, for growth, that kind of thing to happen in a way that is unprecedented. And we're just on the precipice of this expanding globally. Like, we're just at the beginning of, you know, I expect the transformational education industry to be doubling, tripling, quadrupling, expanding, you know, exponentially for decades to come. So I think it's one of the most exciting arenas to be gaining expertise in, because, you know, there's this tidal wave happening that's just, we're just at the precipice of. And so there's never been, you know, and to, you know, to step into these higher potentials that so many people are feeling, we can't do it by ourselves. You can't do it by reading a book. There's an extent to which you can do it online that can be really effective. But if you bring live events into it, you know, it's the creation of the context and the containers in which transformation can happen that, you know, is such a huge opportunity for leadership. So
God, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. And I really want to underline a couple of things that you said here, because I think so often we start doubting that people are going to feel drawn to attending our events, right? That's where the fear comes in. Do I have something to offer? Are people going to come? And you boiled it down to something so simple, Claire, which is the simple truth of adding value. When you're committed to bringing value to the people who attend that room, you know, the invitation that Claire and I have for you is to design the workshop that you want to attend yourself. Right? Bring the message that you wish someone had brought to you. And Claire, what you're speaking into in terms of the opportunity that women have at this moment in history, I think it's so huge. And this concept that an event is going to help us step into our higher potential, a potential that we wouldn't be able to reach on our own, right? We're programmed for a certain sort of set point of how much we can receive, right? We're programmed for certain habitual ways of doing our lives. When we attend an event, we become a part of a higher vibration, this higher potential. I know we just have a few minutes left here, but can you share a little bit about how you create that? Because I've watched you do it in your rooms. And hi, Marcy Shaimoff. We'll be with you in just a few minutes.
Hi, Marcy.
So absolutely
so happy you're here.
Happy that you're here.
So here's what it is in the essence, and this is kind of what I wish I'd known from the beginning. See, we live in a culture with a bias towards a masculine system of power, which is very logical, very linear. So when we're beginning, what starts to happen, we feel insecure and we try to create an event from our mind. But you can't create a transformational space from your mind alone. Like, transformation is the realm of the feminine. Like, you are essentially, you can't control or force or strategize for a huge impact to happen for people. You have to, in fact, to create the space of transformation, it's much more of a feminine process. So you're creating the conditions in which a field and a force that's bigger than you can show up. And that really comes from, rather than strategy and from your mind, it actually comes from relatedness and connection to who you're serving. So think about, who is it that I want to reach and who am I serving? What are their problems? What are their challenges? What are their possibilities? What are their deepest and most urgent unmet needs? When are we? What's happening in the world right now? How can I connect it to the energy of what's happening in the world right now? What time of year am I running the event? It's January. We've just had the Women's March. So it's new beginnings. It's the rise of women, and women are wanting to step into leadership. That's all themes that you can connect with your event. What's the about the place that you're doing the workshop in? Is it this was a women's club, or this was or we're in Berkeley, California. Wow. Two of the movements of the rise of women began in Berkeley, California. So when I was leading my event in Berkeley, California last year, and it was like, we are here at the precipice of the third wave, in the place where the first and second started. So that starts to give juice and energy to your events. And I think it's really like, thinking about what's the return on the investment. It's not just people's money coming, it's their time, it's their energy, it's their emotional investment. What's going to be most valuable for your participants? And then also thinking about what's going to be most valuable for you to receive in return for the energy. And part of that's money, but it's also pictures, it's testimonials, it's relationships. And so often, I would be related to bringing value for everyone else, and I would drop myself out of that I wouldn't think how to build into a workshop what would actually be including myself in the creation of value. So I think, you bring all of that together,
yes.
And then you can actually, like, you're related to the context, you're related to the possibility, and then you can actually drop into a center of deeper knowing that's beyond your mind and be asking, what is the higher potential of this event? What does it want to become? How can I show up and create the conditions in which something bigger than me can come through? And from there, you're going to find access to a creativity, to an inspiration, to a way of being and orienting that's not just your mind. That's absolutely critical if you're creating events in this realm of transformation.
Yes, absolutely. You're underlying something I just believe so deeply. And Claire, every time you speak, I'm just always jotting down notes and, opening myself up to receive your wisdom. You're such a vessel of feminine wisdom. And one of the pieces that we teach in the Events That Change Lives training course, and something I tell my clients all the time, is that it's your job to set the context. It's your job to create the container first and the content second. In fact, context matters 10 times more than content. And this piece that you're talking to around holding space to create the field for the forces to come through is such an absolutely beautiful way of articulating that. Thank you so much. I knew that there was something about your perspective on how to create that field in a live event that was so necessary for what I wanted this live stream to become. So I deeply appreciate you calling in from 23 inches of snow up in the mountains.
Well, I would do that for you because I just so believe in your leadership. I mean, everything I'm speaking about, you embody in how you create space for people. And I just couldn't imagine a more brilliant mentor, especially as people are getting started, to be able to understand the business side in ways that are true to their values, but also to approach and create this kind of value for people. So that's why in the midst of all of this, it was important for me to show up and just encourage everyone to join your program, to participate. They couldn't be in better hands. So
oh, Claire,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Your endorsement means the world to me. I love you. And I know Marcy loves
Love you.
And here we
Love
are,
you,
evolutionary
Claire.
Hi,
women.
love you, Marcy. I'm gonna
The love fest.
have a wonderful rest of the time. So much love and many blessings, everyone.
Bye, Claire Zammit. You're amazing. And for those of you that want to know more about Claire Zammit's courses, we're going to post her website in the chat thread. And I highly recommend that you plug into Claire's incredible content and her newsletters that she sends out. And Evolving Wisdom and her husband, Craig Hamilton, has incredible meditation courses. So get hooked up with Claire, and we'll include her in our resources section that goes out this afternoon. Bye, Claire. We love you. Before I introduce the one and the only Marcy Shimoff, who I am absolutely so tickled to have here, I want to speak into, my team just pinged me and said that we've gotten some questions on the chat thread. How is it that Sage knows all these incredible people? How is it that we were able to create this space where we have all of these experts on the line? And I want to actually tell you that the way that we were able to do this is because I've been attending live events myself for like 5 years. And Shannon's about ready to get on the line and welcome those of you that have been hopping into the Events That Change Lives training program so that we can just welcome you and say thank you for trusting us. But I really want to underline that for those of you who want to have a network that can help you fill events like the one that you're seeing us creating here, we recommend that you attend events. And one of the ways that you can do that is by jumping into our Events That Change Lives training program, because you'll get 2 free tickets to the Women's Leadership Summit. And some of the speakers that are here with us today on the live stream are going to be joining us at the Women's Leadership Summit. It's in April on the California coast. And you'll get 2 tickets, and those are $500 a piece. So you get $1,000 worth of tickets to join us at our live event and meet some of the emerging leaders in the field. And the way that I met Marcy Shimoff was through her dear friend Janet Atwood, and I met Janet at a women's conference 6 years ago in San Diego. So I just want to speak to the power of coming to these events so that you can end up with the kind of network that we have here. And Shannon, who are we welcoming into the program?
Yeah, we've been welcoming people this morning, and it's a big international welcome. We have Wendy Burgess from Australia, Hornsby, Australia, Anna Serafino from Milan, Italy, Esther Haag-Bachmann from Uster, Switzerland. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing anything here. These are amazing places and names. Charmaine Walker from Lithonia, Georgia. Dan Rink from Menlo Park, California, just up the road from us. Karine from Helu, Netherlands. So
I'm so excited to serve those of you who jump into Events That Change Lives. I'm so excited to see you on the first Q&A call. We'll be on video conferencing, so we'll be able to support each other. And don't worry, if you don't have the capacity to do video conferencing, you'll be able to call in and be with us that way. And I'm so thrilled that Italy and Switzerland and countries all over the world are going to be experiencing your events. One of the things I love about our next guest, Marcy Shimoff, is that Marcy has brought such a core universal message to people all over the world. For those of you that don't know or aren't as familiar with Marcy's work, she's the #1 New York Times best-selling author and world-renowned transformational teacher and an expert in happiness. And she's the author of The Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul and the incredible book Happy for No Reason, which was a book that absolutely changed my life. Marcy also co-leads a worldwide program called Your Year of Miracles with thousands of participants from over 40 countries. And she's inspired millions of people all over the world to really understand what happiness is and how to create happiness from the inside out. And I got to take a trip to Ecuador with Marcy last year. And I'll tell you, she gave me some insights into understanding the way I'm wired and my own happiness that have stayed with me ever since. So we're so blessed to have you here, Marcy.
I am so happy to be here with you, Sage, and I just want everybody to know that I am a huge Sage Levine fan. Sage, you have taught me so many things about speaking, about how to make events, live events, fantastic, how to change lives in live events, and I'm so grateful to you. So I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Oh, you are one of my absolute heroes, sheroes on the planet. One of the things I love about you, Marcy, is like you walk your talk, you know, like you're who I've seen you to be on stage, who I've seen you to be in interviews, and then who I've seen you to be when I'm like hanging out with you after you've had a incredible Ayurvedic treatment, or, you know, we're just having lunch. Like, it's the same Marcy. And that's something that I really aspire to within myself as I'm developing my leadership, is like, I don't want to have a mask on. I just want to be me. Can you share a little bit about how, you know, you're the expert on happiness. So how do we bring our joy and our happiness into our events, and how do we create that congruent leader, you know, as we're stepping into so much more responsibility and visibility?
I think that's such a great question, because the reality is everybody wants the authentic you. I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world to be, is who you really are. And that people can feel that. And so when you work on yourself and become truly more of, you know, we're all here to learn what it is we're teaching. So the more you learn what it is you're teaching, the more an example you are going to be to your audiences. I mean, that's what a great thing. You know, I love that I have to every day work on my own happiness, because that's what I'm out there teaching. So that's a really fabulous, that's a fabulous side benefit of being able to do events and speak, is that it forces you to actually walk the talk.
God, that really is, isn't it? I've been reflecting on that too. Like, I'm actually forced to take so much better care of myself now that I'm in more leadership. You know, with the book coming out and the more visibility, the more opportunities are coming my way. It's almost like it's one of my primary jobs in life is to take care of myself. And I feel like that's something that I hope that you are taking notes on right now as Marcy's talking, because I think that there's like it's almost hand in hand. The more leadership you're in, the more self-care required. Would you agree?
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. But I want to share something that I wish I had known many, many years ago when I started speaking. And I hope people are taking notes, because I'm going to share with you 5 things that can change your live events. And I've been speaking for the last 30 years. I've spoken to over 1 million people. I don't know how many over, but well over 1 million people on more than 20 continents, or 20 countries, sorry. And what I have found is that every audience around the world, no matter who you're speaking to, I've spoken to audiences of 3 people and audiences of 10,000 people. Every audience wants the same thing. They're hungry for the same thing. And if you can feed your audiences these 5 things, you've got it covered. So let me just share with you the 5 foods that every audience is hungry for. Is that okay, Sage?
Please, I'm so excited. I've got my pen and paper here.
So number 1, every audience wants to be entertained.
Yes.
They want to enjoy themselves. They want to laugh. They want to have a good time. They want to be engaged. And you do that through a number of things. And Sage, these are the things that you teach in your fabulous program. So I know that I'm only just highlighting what it is that you know and that you share with people.
Highlight away. We love it. The more we can
So number 1, everybody wants to be entertained. Number 2, they want to be inspired.
Yes.
They want to go away knowing that they can do this, that the possibilities are out there for them. And they get inspired through hearing your story, through hearing other people's stories. Number 3, they want to get fresh, new knowledge.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean that you had to come up with the knowledge, because there really is nothing new under the sun. What it means is you put it together in a way that is unique and in a way that they really connect with. But they want to be able to go home and share with the people around their families around their dinner table what they learned. Number 4, they want to feel connected. They want to feel like they're a part of something. We live in and I think Ocean may have spoken about this earlier today, but you know, we feel so disconnected with each other. And when people come to an event, they want to feel like they are part of something. So they're connected to you, they're connected to each other, they're connected to something bigger than themselves. And then number 5, they want to walk away with specific practical things that they can use in their life right away that can make their lives better in whatever area you're sharing with them. And I want to just, you know, if you take a look at, let's just take Tony Robbins, because he's so huge.
Because he's Tony Robbins.
Because he's Tony Robbins. And what is Tony Robbins known for in his events? You know, first and foremost, he's known for the fire walk. The fire walk does all 5 of those things.
It sure does.
It entertains, it's engaging, It's inspiring. You get to know what you can do more with your life.
Yes.
You have to learn new things to be able to figure out, to be able to actually make this thing happen for yourself, so you don't end up with burned feet. It connects you with a whole group of other people who are out there doing it. And it's very bonding. And if he does a good job, which he does, the debrief shows you what you can do in your own life. So these are some of the elements. And Sage, you know, the way that what you share with people is how to do events that truly change people's lives. And I will tell you, there is no bigger privilege in the universe than being able to change people's lives through doing live events. And if we have any time, I can share a quick little story or a couple of stories of how I've seen that happen to people in the live events that I've done.
Absolutely. We have a few more minutes. And I really just want to underline what you're sharing, Marcy, because when you gather a group of people in the name of transformation, there is something that's possible that isn't possible anywhere else. And you're going to have a variety of learning styles in the room. And so what you're speaking to, Marcy, is so important for our live streamers to understand, because you're going to have people in the room that learn auditorily. You're going to have people in the room that learn energetically. You're going to have people in the room that want some of the hard science. They want some grounded, practical steps. They want a how-to. They want here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. So when you can deliver all of that magic, when you can make room for some spontaneity and yet give them some structure, you're going to be creating an experience that everybody can really rest into. And you're going to build trust with the audience that allows them to take the next step with you. So yes, I want to welcome Justin. We're going to be live with Justin in just a few minutes. Hi, Justin Livingston. We're so glad you're here. And Marcy, I'd love to have you, sort of wrap up your time with a story. Tell us a story.
Well, first of all, I want to speak about the fear thing, because earlier you were speaking a little bit about fear. I get afraid every time I go to speak. I mean, it's not as much as it was in the beginning, but it's there, and it's not about getting rid of the fear. It's that you've got big things ahead. And, Lisa Nichols says that if you're not afraid, you're not up to something big enough.
Yes.
Don't let the fear stop you. And what propels me forward is knowing in my soul that I am doing what I'm here to do, to serve in a particular way, so that my fears can step to the side. And I will tell you, I've had in my events, things can happen in live events that can't happen online and on amazing things. I've had people, meet their life partner, people meet their husband, meet their wife. I've had lifelong friendships being formed, relationships being formed, partnerships. But the most profound things that have ever happened to me is, it's happened to me a number of times, but the first time it happened to me was I was standing in line afterwards. This was a number of years ago, big autographing line, signing books. And one woman, I could see her, she was about 5 people back, and she was in tears. And done, she gets up to me and she takes my hands and she looks me in the eye and she said, "Marcy, I was going to commit suicide before today. I was going to go home tomorrow. I was planning to commit suicide. But I saw today that my life is worth living. And I thank you so deeply for giving me my life." Now, what do you say to that?
Right.
There is nothing more profound that you can do than give hope, meaning, ways to live the life that we're each here to live. Opportunity and the privilege that we all have when we can do events like what it is you're training people to do, Sage. So I just want to encourage everybody. If you're here right now, there's a reason that you're here. You're to this live stream with all of us because there's something in your soul that's saying, I have a that I'm supposed to do. I'm something that I'm supposed to give out. And I will tell you that the best way to do this is to learn from the masters. You're a master. I still learn from you. So I want to encourage everyone who is here listening to you don't have to make all of the mistakes that we've all made. You can learn from the masters. And Sage Levine is certainly a master.
Oh God, I love you so much. I'm like, I just am so grateful that the universe brought us together, Marcy, and I've learned so much from you. And I'm so honored that we get to be on the planet together at this time when we have an opportunity to give our gifts in this way. I mean, how lucky are we that we have the tools and the strategies at our fingertips to be able to reach people and change lives. And I think that what you're saying is so essential, that our fear will stop us when we make it about ourselves. It's not about us. It's about our students. It's about the people whose lives we want to change. And when we can remember that our love and our contribution can bring all kinds of healing, including, wow, Marcy, what a story, to get to have that opportunity to look somebody in the eyes and say, I got to be a part of you choosing life. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So Marcy, thank you. Thank you for bringing your message. And for those of you who are not tracking Marcy online, you can follow her at yearofmiracles.com. Is that the best website? And then we'll make sure that we send out a link to Marcy's website.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
Say it one more time, yearofmiracles.com.
Youryearofmiracles.com.
Your year of miracles. And Shannon, will you stick that in the chat thread? And I really would just invite every single one of you to keep track of Marcy and what she's up to, because the happiness tools and the principles that you send out in your newsletters and every single thing you share with the world is a contribution to me. Thank you so much, Marcy. I love you so much.
Thank you, Sage. Love you. Love to everybody.
Bye, beautiful woman. So go ahead and type into the chat thread below, what is the biggest thing you got out of hearing from Marcy? I'm about ready to bring on one of my mentors and one of my favorite men on the planet, Justin Livingston. And while we're in this transition moment, I again want to thank you and welcome you for being here. Congratulations for prioritizing your clients and the message that you're here to bring. For those of you who are curious about jumping into the Events That Change Lives program, or you're curious about the details, when does class start, all of those good things, you can click the link at the bottom of the screen, right underneath the video there, and class starts next week. So we are going to be inviting you to join us and join a tribe of almost 400 other workshop leaders and aspiring event facilitators who are all using events to grow their business. Whether you're just starting out and you want to use events to get your business off the ground, or whether you've already been leading workshops and you want to use events to take your business to the next level of 6 or 7 figures. I'm so thrilled and so excited to support many of you in that program. And I want to introduce Justin, because we only have a few minutes with him here. But, Justin has been such an incredible mentor to me and to so many entrepreneurs. He's the CEO and the co-founder of Lucrative Luminary Training. It's a company that specializes in helping thousands of workshop leaders like yourself around the globe. And he's really an expert in the art and science of selling and marketing. So I wanted to have Justin in here to bring some of the hardcore practical strategy. Justin, so that you can please balance out some of these airy-fairy, amazing goddess women who are bringing very energetic messages. We need some of the grounded tips. And for those of you that don't know Justin, he's amazing. And in his past, he was a former MMA fighter. So not only is he brilliant, but he is also unstoppable. He knows how to keep going even when fear shows up. And we're just thrilled to have him here with us today. Hi, Justin. Justin, we can't hear you. Your wisdom is only coming through your incredible photo. We just need you to turn your mic on somehow. And let me see if I can do anything about it. Dun, dun, da-da. Justin will be typing in all of his wisdom into the chat thread and I'll just read it for you. That's weird. We haven't had any other problems with sound today. One of the things I know about Justin is that he is a bit of a wizard with marketing. So I'm not quite sure why we can't hear him. Shannon, you can't hear Justin, can you?
No, let's see. I'm right here. I was checking my settings as well. Justin, you're not on mute on our end.
So weird. Maybe Justin, try hanging up and calling back in. Yeah, we can see your chats. It's just some weird technical glitch. And in the meantime, Shannon, do we have any questions on the chat? Is there anything happening over there that we need to respond to? I know that we had a question earlier about the Events That Change Lives itinerary, and whether this is going to be a program that actually helps you get your entire business off the ground, or what piece of your business are we actually helping you with. And I want to just really underline that in these 6 weeks, the goal is for you to end up with a 2-hour-long workshop, a 2-hour-long, content rich workshop that you can use to reach your audience, and you'll know that thing backward and forward. And I'll say a little bit more about that at the end. Since Justin, you're back, can we hear you now?
Is it working?
Yay!
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm gonna put everything else on pause so that we can talk to you. And Shannon, we'll get right back with you after we're with Justin here. Yay, Justin! It's so good to hear your voice.
Yeah,
I'm so thrilled to have you here.
That's a relief. I was concerned there.
Of course. So, Justin, you lead events for luminaries all over the world, and you're so brilliant at marketing. What do you wish you had known when you first started leading events? And for those aspiring workshop leaders and folks on the line that are just getting started using events as a way to grow their business, what's some of the best advice you can give us?
Oh, wow. So many things. I mean, for me, when I first started doing events, I was terrible in front of the room. I didn't have the, I wasn't good at connecting with people in general, never mind in front of the stage. Like, that was not my aptitude at all. And so Callan used to talk about me just being basically a talking head. I would stand there and just talk about statistics and theory and whatever else. And so a couple of things that I, thankfully, being in partnership with Callan, that I learned from her was, the how-to of actually connecting with people. You mentioned that I have a fighting background, and it wasn't until I started leading live events that I realized that I was actually unable to make eye contact with women. I didn't even have that awareness. If you can imagine that, being in my late 20s and not even having that awareness. And because for me, eye contact meant fight.
And
of course, I don't want to.
I don't want to. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me what took a lot of effort, which I assume is not going to be the case for most of you, people that are attracted to you are probably, they've got that connection thing down, I assume, to a large degree. But once I was actually able to do it, another great awareness that Callan brought to me was the ability not just to connect with individuals, but to be able to connect with the room, to be able to be aware of and connected with people that were in the far corners. Like, focus on, it's great to have people, I don't know if you've noticed this at your events, I assume, like, there's the people that are always sitting in the front row, and they're the people that laugh at your jokes and they're eager to connect with. Like, those are the easy people. But what about the people that are hiding in the back? And how do you bring those people in? How do you include them and connect with those people as well? And that to me was one of the, if it wasn't for Callan, I don't even think I would have had the awareness that is something to aspire to, never mind actually know how to do. So just in case, if anyone happens to be like me at all that's listening.
Well,
that's a big one.
I do really want to emphasize that all types of leaders are needed leading events. One of the things I really appreciate about you, Justin, is that you have an introverted side, and I actually do too. Most people don't think I'm an introvert. Most people think I'm an extrovert, but I actually refuel and I regenerate myself on my own. I need my time unplugged. And Justin, you have that side to you as well, that, more inner reflective side. And I actually can feel that in you. And I'm actually very attracted to that energy, because there's a certain authenticity that comes through you when you're just being yourself. And so I think it's really helpful for us to hear that eye contact piece is potentially going to come up for some of us, especially in live events when you have so much physiological energy directed toward you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Another good thing that comes up for me that was a huge benefit. This is another thing that I learned from Callan, actually, because Callan has a couple of degrees in teaching and education and whatnot. And so when I met her, I was leading these events where I was teaching people how to sell. So I had this place in Vancouver here, one of the suburbs of Vancouver. And direct salespeople would come in earlier in the day, like before lunch, and I'd spend an hour and a half with them teaching some things, and then they'd go off to whatever their job was, or off to the rest of their day. A lot of them were multi-level marketers, and I was constantly getting feedback about how smart I was and about how good the content was, and I thought I was like the best. I thought I was king of the world, And when I met Callan, I was telling her about it, and so she's like, oh, that's interesting. And she gave me a little challenge. She said, well, if you're open, or would you be open to trying something and whatever? I said, yeah. And she introduced me to this concept of assessment. And essentially all that it means, if the word's not obvious, is that you build into the curriculum basically ways of testing people's comprehension, or their ways to be, do, and have whatever it is you're intending for them to be, do, and have. And when I first started doing that, I realized, whoa, my events weren't very effective. Like, the people were not getting the results that I was promising. I was teaching them stuff, but they weren't actually, there was no transformation taking place.
Yeah.
And that was a big eye opener, of course, and something I had to look in the mirror and then, okay, well, I'll have to do something about. And luckily, the remedy of that wasn't all that difficult. Actually, it just meant on being crystal clear on, with any given segment or any given event, what's the primary learning objective? Like, what is it that I want people to be, do, have, or feel after this, whether it's a segment or a whole program or whatever. And then once I'm crystal clear on what that thing is, then it's just a matter of, okay, what can I put in place here that will tell me whether or not these people are actually be, doing, having, or feeling that thing, right? And anyway, so, and Callan just recalls that process, assessment. And in our events, we build in assessment. We try to build them into every single segment. It's not necessarily in every single segment, but pretty close.
I think pretty close is really important, and it's something that I teach in my training programs as well. And sure. I love what you're saying, Justin, because there's a saying that says, and write these pieces down, build in assessment to your workshops, write that down. What Justin just said is like pure gold. There's a saying that piggybacks on that says, impression without expression leads to depression.
Whoa, that's great.
Impression without expression leads to depression. So if you stand on stage and, for those of you that took the workshop leader quiz and you're stage rocking visionaries and you're great at standing on stage, but you're still developing the skills of facilitating and actually creating, opportunities for people to share and do partner shares and express themselves and create discussions in the room, then that's something that you're going to want to bring in more, because what Justin's saying is absolutely true. And I think it's one of the big things that our world is so hungry for at a time when we're in information overload, right? Like, content is a dime a dozen. You can go online and find anything these days, but what you can't do is you can't necessarily, just this afternoon show up in a room and have the opportunity to share what you're learning and interact with new information with other human beings. And so if you keep impressing a bunch of content on people without giving them a chance to express what they're learning, they get so full, there's almost like a depression that happens. Wouldn't you agree, Justin?
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was 100% impression when I first met Callan, and just no awareness of how to do it different. And the good news you know, because you were saying, you know, if you're not that polished of a speaker or presenter, the good news is there's not a person alive that needs to have that hold them back. Because when you're structuring your events in the ways that you're talking about, Sage, you actually do a lot less. You do less presenting and less speaking. It becomes less and less about you and the polish, and more about what the individuals are doing and engaging with, and a lot of times with that means engaging with each other, not necessarily the presenter. So, you know, it's, yeah, a lot of times to be a mark of someone who's really phenomenal on stage, as far as being an agent for transformation. I'm not saying, not judging someone as whether or not they're a great speaker, but if they're a great agent of transformation, usually means that throughout their event, they're sitting on a chair on the stage, sipping on their tea or talking to their assistant, or maybe making notes for the next thing. It's like they're not actually saying all that much. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, exactly. Like there's this picture of me on stage like this. I'm like,
exactly.
You know, I'm sitting up there like this. And somebody put the tagline underneath it, like, another rough day at the office. Yeah. You know, there's like 500 people in the audience, and I just put them in a partner share. And I actually find leading events to be easier, I think, than like leading, you know, online, because online, oftentimes the responsibility is all on me, right? To create whatever sort of engagement I'm creating. But in a live event, what an opportunity to get people really interacting with each other.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, you're such a brilliant marketer. Before we wrap up with you, will you give us a marketing tip? And I know you have a free gift for everybody too.
I do, yeah. And the one thing is, as far as marketing tip, I think, because the idea of marketing, or the word or the thing, is probably not all that appealing or sexy to people in general, especially, I'm assuming, with your audience, Sage. But I think, you know, there's a few things that will really accelerate the success of a live event business, you know, and there's the idea of doing events, which is awesome. And then there's the idea of having a bit like a live event business. Like, I definitely consider my business to be a live event business. Sure, we do stuff online and social media, and we have video memberships and whatever. But everything that we do from a strategic perspective comes down to two things. Everything is about getting people to register for our live events, and then getting them to show up when the day happens. That's the business side of live events. And there's a lot of different ways. There's so many different ways of marketing live events and producing content and all this stuff. But it's all going to come down to all of the different ways that you can be of value to people in a strategic way that's going to have them first register and then show up to your live event. And so I like people that take on that mindset, like the business side of what you're doing. This is aside from, of course, the passion and the transformation, all the stuff that happens within the live event itself, which I'm not shortchanging in any way, shape, or form, of course. But when it comes to the business side of it, it's about filling your events first, foremost, and almost exclusively, from my perspective. I'm in the
butts in seats. I'm with you. If we don't have butts in seats, you don't have any magic. You know, you don't have anybody whose lives you get to change.
Exactly. So it's about the mindset of being in the event filling business. And then once the event happens, of course, then it's, you know, the intention and what you're doing becomes very different. But yeah, between it, like, I have a team now of, I don't know if we're at 30 people or 28, 29 people in our company. It's like a big, you know, this big operation, and it's just a large group of people that spend all day, every day, doing all of these different things that get people to register for and show up to events. That's it.
Oh, tell me about it. I totally know. We've got a small army of women over here doing the exact same thing. And what's so amazing is the work that we get to do when all of those people are implementing those strategies. And I know, Justin, you've put together a gift called Fast Track Event Marketing.
Yeah. So here's the deal. And this is more and more true. What I'm about to say is more and more true the more early you are in the stage of your event business. And because most, like Sage, you're going to teach them different ways of filling events, and I assume that most of it's going to be education driven, like different forms of marketing that are education based marketing tactics. And and there's people like you and us and Lisa Sasevich and some other people that have different versions of getting people to share their what you might call a signature talk or a signature piece that you do on webinars, stuff like that. Like, it's good to have a piece of content that you're constantly revising, that you've got down, that's polished, and that converts really well. However, as you're making relationships and coming up with different tactics of ways to get value to people that has them register for your events, a lot of times opportunities come to you that are A, fairly last minute, and B, aren't a perfect fit for whatever the main thing is, or whatever the main signature thing is. So, someone will come, they want you on a podcast. It's like your ideal audience, but they want you to talk on something that's slightly different. It's not quite your wheelhouse or the thing that you've prepared in advance. Or it could be a speaking engagement, webinar interview, all these different opportunities. So because Callan and I in the beginning, this was happening so often that what we did was we came up with a process. It takes us 75 minutes, well, 75 to 90 minutes. So it's pretty quick. And so it's a process where you can create an educational campaign like super fast that also positions your training, your live event, so it'll actually work. So now here's the thing. We're going to give you this process, right? So everyone who signs up for Sage's program is going to get this process from us. When we sell this, it's a $500, well, of course, the $497. It's a $500 program. But here's the important thing. This is not meant in any way, shape, or form, because I'm saying it's quick and easy, right? It's not meant to replace the key elements that you're going to have in place to start filling your events. This is for cases for those last minute opportunities, whether they're
it's so common, right? Those interviews.
So common.
Yeah, those times that we have the opportunity to hop on stage, or last minute somebody says, hey, I had an opening at this event. Can you be ready? This is a great compliment.
This is for those only.
Much.
I don't want people replace, this isn't meant to replace. This is meant for those opportunities where usually people have one or two options when they come. They either have to turn them down because they're not prepared for it, or they do put something together last minute, but it's not totally strategic, and then it ends up just being a big disappointment because it doesn't get a result.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful thing. So for those of you that jump into the Events That Change Lives training program today, you're going to get this extra complimentary training from Justin to be able to really strategically prepare yourself in a short amount of time for those last minute opportunities that come your way. And I want to assure you, for the 85 or so of you that have already jumped into Events That Change Lives up until now, we'll make sure that you get that gift as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Justin. You're such an incredible, just such an incredible, fellow colleague to me. I think many of my best friends in the industry have asked, why do you and Justin collaborate? Because what you guys teach is so similar. Right. And my answer is always that Justin and I are both coming from this place of, this abundance mindset. And, there's ways that I present and train workshop leaders that are unique to me. And there's ways that Justin trains that are unique to him. But I think overall, something that I love about you, Justin, is just what an incredible, collaborative, generous, and just so whip smart about marketing friend and colleague you've become to me. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, my pleasure, and thanks to you and your team and everyone listening for the few, I don't know if that was 5 minutes or whatever it was with the video and audio glitch. So thanks for patience on that. And my apologies to, I know you've got Ocean Robbins, I can see him there. So
yeah,
talk about an abundance thinker. You got another phenomenal guy coming up. And anyway, Ocean, sorry, we're a little behind. I had some rookie mistakes here or something on my audio, but anyway, so thanks for listening. It was a real pleasure to share. Thank you, Sage.
Oh, thank you so much, Justin. You're Absolutely. So wise and so generous. I highly recommend that you guys type into the chat thread what's the biggest thing that you got from Justin's share so that we can kind of create a running note-taking guide there. Love you, Justin.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, beautiful people. We're back with Ocean Robbins. Hi, Ocean Robbins.
Hi, what a feast.
Oh my gosh, we have absolutely been diving into so much incredible content and so much incredible strategy, from Rika Zimmerman having orgasms on stage to Justin Livingston grounding it and Marcy Shimoff grounding it in, you know, the 5 steps and the practical strategies to really get people to our event. We've had just a delightful time. Before I dive back in with you, Ocean, I want to summarize what are the 7 sort of key learnings that we've gotten from all of our speakers. And I know, Ocean, you're going to help me summarize that for everybody. I want to check in with Shannon. How are people doing on the chat? And I'll check in with you in just a moment. I'm going to summarize first. And then, Shannon, if you have any welcoming or questions that have come across the chat that you want us to address, I'm so happy to do that. So, number 1 strategy to leading events, Ocean, you and I actually came up with this, and that is that live events are the ultimate transformation, because there's healing that can happen 3-dimensionally that isn't going to happen any other way, right? A lot of what we need to access within ourselves and our past and our physiology, that can only happen in a 3-dimensional room. Experiential training. When you guys are marketing your events, you can even market them as a live experiential training. People really are hungry for these experiential events. Number 2 from Derek Rydell, miracles are created in the sacred crucible of an event space, right? And what that means is that when you're doing inner work, mindset work, and learning strategies alongside a dozen or 50 or even hundreds of other people, you're getting the learning on a deeper level because everybody's doing it together. And he also reminded us that when we lead live events, we ignite mavens of our message that are going to help us carry our message further and infuse our virtual marketing with leaders who believe in what we're bringing, so that we don't have to keep bringing our message alone anymore. Number 3, Rika Zimmerman, was all about letting go of control and really stepping into that more surrendered place of being a channel of what wants to come through in the moment. So the reminder to leave spaces in your live event for that magic to come through, for you to channel a force that's bigger than you. Now, number 4, Claire Zammit, she's reminding us that it's more about the container and the field that you create in an event. It's more about that field than it is about the content itself. So to be sure that you have exercises where people can enter into discussions with partners and acknowledge each other. We taught a great acknowledgement exercise on the webinar yesterday. We'll make sure that you guys have access to the webinar replay for another 24 hours if you haven't caught the webinar. I taught one of my favorite exercises on how to create that field in the room, that field where that bigger force shows up. Number 5, tip number 5 to leading life-changing events is that you must do several things in your events. This is from Marcy Shimoff. You must do several things in your events to really capture everybody's attention. Entertain, inspire, bring fresh new knowledge, get people connected, and bring some practical, tangible tools so that people's logical mind also has something to plug their, their energy into, that structure that creates trust. And when people trust you, they will also buy from you. And that brings me to tip number 6 from Justin Livingston. And he reminded us that it's so critical that we connect with people in the corners of our event. We connect with the whole room and not just the people in the front row. And I want to add something to what I talked about with Justin, and that is that impression without expression leads to depression. You want to have You want to have the content of your workshop alternate between you giving some great information and then your participants having an opportunity to really engage in that information, whether it's in a discussion or a partner share or an exercise. And we're going to bring you, Ocean and I are about ready to bring you the 7th tip, the final strategy for rocking your events. And Shannon, how are we doing on the chat? And in a moment, we're going to open it up for live Q&A. I'm going to be telling you guys what phone number to call to be live with Ocean and myself and Shannon. And we'll be coaching some of you live and in person about your workshops and what you might be doing to use events to grow your business. So stay on for the Q&A and grab your phone so you have that handy. How we doing, Shannon?
The chat thread is great. I'm loving this conversation and everybody that's been popping on. You know, just a lot of the wisdom being shared, people are really appreciating it. I think we'll have a lot of questions when we get to the Q&A. One of the recent questions I liked by Catherine, which I think it's really kind of a big question. You know, it's going to take some work to get the training on this, but she wanted to know what the best tips for getting people to register for the event and show up. You know, kind of a butts and seats checklist, and also some, I think, deeper strategy on how to really get people to show up.
It's such a good question, Catherine. We're going to be talking about that for sure at the end. And for now, I want to really emphasize some of the tips that we've been teaching in the videos. There's a butts and seats video number 2 that you want to go back and watch if you haven't watched that already. But one of the, the number 1 strategy in there is that you have to have a title for your workshops that people can understand, that's simple, and that passes what I call the face test. That means when you tell me what's the title of your workshop, what's the topic of your workshop, when you describe that to me, I actually have a face come to mind. Oh, my friend Shannon would probably love to attend that workshop. My friend Marcy Scheimoff might really love to attend that workshop. If you have a title that's too general and I don't have a face coming to mind, your marketing is actually working against you. Because imagine what happens when you have a title that actually draws people to you, like bees to honey, right? They are, those titles are going to work for you even when you're sleeping, even when you're taking a walk by the beach or taking a walk through the woods. That's the marketing that Justin and I were talking about needs to be able to work for you when you're out there doing other things. Ocean, would you agree?
I totally would. I'll just give a very tangible example of that. Like we, for the Food Revolution Summit, this is online, but it's still a similar principle. We had an upsell after people purchased our empowerment package for our Food Revolution Summits. They were given an opportunity to get what we call the Food Revolution Greatest Hits, which was a collection of interviews from past summits that were really popular. And then the next year, in the exact same place, after people bought the empowerment package, we invited them instead to get the Ultimate Health Collection, which was, we said, this is, if your greatest motivation in this summit is wanting to know about food and health, then this is for you. So in a sense, we were narrowing our audience a little bit because we get people who are political activists, who care about animals, who want to fight GMOs, who all kinds of different issues, right? We were saying this is for the people who are interested in food and health. Well, sales on that product sold in the exact same way were twice as high as they had been on the greatest hits. And I think it's because we were actually getting more specific. And so sometimes when you niche down or you really clarify who it's for, you actually pull people in because it makes it more tangible.
I couldn't agree more. I totally couldn't agree more. And it's so interesting when you start really looking at the titles that work versus the titles that that don't work. And the difference between, it's like our intention can be good. We can have all of this incredible wisdom that we want to share with people. And just a small tweak to the title can be the difference between a bunch of people showing up and people not showing up. And that's where that's where Justin is getting really strategic with us by saying, you can have all the passion in the world, but you need to be willing to become a business person with the mindset of being committed to learning the marketing strategies that are going to get people to your event. I'll give you another example. One of my clients was leading relationship workshops for years, and they would be like they would be titled things like Relationship Wisdom 101, come learn relationship guidance. And when we really dialed in a title for her, it was like 3 keys to manifest your ideal partnership now, right? It's like so clear. Are you looking to actually have the person in your life now that's going to be the next greatest love of your life? And her workshops were selling out, and she didn't have to change anything about what she did on the back end. In fact, when she first came to me, she was nervous because she didn't want to sound too salesy. Right. And she explained to me that a lot of what she teaches once people come to her workshops is she teaches self-love. Like, she teaches people to love themselves enough so that they attract their next ideal relationship. And she was afraid that if she changed the title, she wouldn't be able to teach the stuff that she most loved. And I want to really emphasize that you don't have to actually change what you're doing on the back end. You can still teach everything that you're passionate about. We just need to find the title that's like hanging a sign on the door that's going to make the right people walk through the door. And then once they get into your home, you can do all the things with them that you want to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, but a title helps you to clarify as well when you're creating a workshop, even content-wise.
Totally.
What are the core outcomes? And I think it's important to think about, what is someone going to get out of this experience that's going to change their life? What pains will it address? What struggles problems will it solve? Because people, if you think about it, people are very hesitant to invest monetarily in things that are vague, right? Because we've got so many things going on, but we'll spend quite a bit of money for a tangible result, something we know is going to make us feel better. People will spend $10,000 on a trip to Hawaii with their family because they really expect that it's going to be nourishing, that they're going to have fun, that it's going to be bonding, that it's going to be restful, right? But they might not spend, a tenth that on a workshop that could be 10 times more long-term valuable for their life, because they don't see what the tangible value is, or they're not sold or convinced of it. So the more tangible you can be on, okay, here's what the value is, here's who it's for, and don't be afraid to say who it's not for.
That's exactly right.
You can't be everything to everybody, or else you'll end up being nothing to nobody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You've got to clarify, what is the value and who is it for, and then really hone in on that. And then, of course, once you do that, you may find that a lot of people fit into that. Like, we focus on food and health, for example, and I have to say, I think most people want to be healthy, and most people eat, right? So in a sense, it's broad. But we also focus on, in our work, the food revolution, and our niche is people who are, in some sense, who identify as part of that relatively small subset of people, which actually isn't so small, who realize that the status quo and the norm is toxic.
Yes.
And want to radically change it. So in a sense, we're making them feel like they're part of a small band of radicals, while then articulating it in a way that makes the radical be completely self-evident.
God, right? And what I love about the way that you talk about it, Ocean, is you're using your client's language. And so that's something that you're going to want to get out there and do, is engage with your potential clients, with people that you would love to serve, and ask them what their language is. At my last event, it was actually my biggest event of my career. We had over 500 people in the room, and I got a chance to have a really authentic conversation with a bunch of my clients about what they wanted. And I'm putting together, I've been asked, I'm in the process of putting together a mini training on how to build a business in the midst of body breakdown, because so many of us, we start to have these big messages coming through us, these big visions of the future, and oftentimes our bodies will start to kind of, feel the responsibility and the weight of that, right? And like, we'll get, all of a sudden we have neck pain, or all of a sudden we're feeling stressed or fatigue, or, it's like, how do we overcome that body breakdown in our minds? Well, the reason I actually discovered that a lot of my clients want a training like this is because I had body breakdown at my biggest event of the year. So last year, Ocean, gosh, you were there. It was last March. We had over 500 women in the room, and I was sick. I was sick for my biggest event of the year. Can you imagine? I woke up with a horrible cough and a sore throat right before my big event. I remember my team rallied around me, and they looked me in the eye, and they're like, Sage, no matter what happens, this ship is not sinking. you know, and I could feel right there that my lesson in all of it, that I ended up sick for my biggest event, my lesson was to learn how to let go and trust my team, and to remember that the responsibility of my business is not all on my shoulders. But one quick funny story about that, I actually started coughing on stage. I was like, I was like hawking up a lung. And I sounded like, you know, this primal, guttural, you know, hack. And I caught my breath at the end of it, and all of these faces were staring at me, like feeling so bad for me. And I caught a breath, and I said, that was Czechoslovakian for "I see the God in you." And the whole audience just cracked up. And it was one of those moments where I used a horrible experience to be a teachable moment, and I brought humor in. So we ended up having right then a heart-to-heart about body breakdown in business. And I got to admit to the women in the room that I hadn't done a good enough job taking care of myself before my event. There were a couple of choices that if I could go back and make them again, I would have made them differently. And I taught them like sort of the rigorous self-care schedule that we should all be doing before events. And here's another tip about events. You want to be prepared for your event at least 72 hours before the event takes place. You want to be so prepared with your handouts ready and your box of supplies that you need all packed at least 72 hours before the event takes place. And that way you can just relax and rest and get excited for the event. And 99 out of 100 times that's what I do. But in this particular moment before this particular event, I had just moved. And the house that I moved into had flooded. So that was a big part of the stress that was on me when I ended up getting sick. And of course, we can't always control those things. And so the authentic conversation that came out of that was just absolutely one of the biggest gifts of my whole year last year. And we had even higher conversion at the event. We had, you know, we made more sales than we've ever made before, despite the fact that I was sick. You know, nothing, there was no cost of me being sick other than the fact that I probably didn't enjoy the event quite as much as I would have if I had been healthy. But I really got the big lesson, you know, to let go and to also be so extraordinarily prepared ahead of time so you can relax and really do a great job leading up to your event. So that's tip number 7. I want you guys to write down, for those of you that are tracking the 7 tips that we promised you in this live stream, is that everything in your event can become a teachable moment. Whether somebody complains or whether somebody has, you know, something happens in the event that you're not quite sure how to handle it, it's a teachable moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you guys still hear me? Go ahead, Ocean.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
I imagine everyone can as well. That is such a powerful principle. And I guess I want to anchor, that's also a life lesson, right? That everything that happens to us actually can be a teachable moment.
God, it's so true.
There's something about being in an event in front of a group of people that compels us to bring our A game.
Yeah.
Because it's magnified and you're visible. So you want to do your best, right? You're going to dress nicely. You're probably going to brush your hair. And you're going to want to be as present as you can be. You know, people who drink caffeine are probably going to have some coffee before they go on stage or start an event. You know, whatever it is, it helps you center and be present for it. And from that space, we find that there are lessons in everything. And I think that people feel connected to us when we interact in real time with what actually happens. You know, that story of the coughing fit is so powerful. Actually, I was at an event for 500 people once. I was speaking at, and we were showing this video that we had spent 6 months developing. It was like a 6-minute video, but we spent 6 months. It was like the core, it was our nonprofit. It was our big fundraiser of the year. And we were going to show this video, and the video totally didn't work. Like technical.
Oh my gosh.
Crash. We have an hour with 500 people in the room. We were hoping to raise $500,000 for our nonprofit in this hour. And this 6-minute video just didn't work. Like, no, it wouldn't play. So then, and we were counting on it to like be the emotional hook that would inspire people. And then we were going to have them get out their checkbooks right afterwards, right? So suddenly I went, and I had been scripted up to that point. Everything I'd said had kind of been memorized and scripted, but now I had to be completely off script. So I just spoke from the heart, and I said, well, you know what? Sometimes in life, things go the way you want and everything works out perfectly. But then there's the rest of the time, which
Right.
most of the time.
Totally.
And I think what defines us as humans is how we respond to what life brings.
God,
right?
it's so true.
And so then I got to just be spontaneous and from the heart. And what I said then was what was in my heart to say that wasn't in the, it turned out it wasn't in the script. And, you know, a lot of people afterwards said that was the highlight of the presentation.
Aww.
And it was totally not in the plan. And I think we raised more money that day because of that technical glitch, right? So how do we roll with what life gives us and find the beauty in it, or the humanizing connection in it, or the opportunity? And I think that's part of the art of leadership. And when you're in a live room or a live event, spontaneity is part of what goes with the program. You know, you can't be on script all the time.
I know,
you gotta
right?
interact with people, and that's part of why they love it, and that's part of why they come, and that's part of why it's so transformational, because they're really getting to it.
Yeah, that's the best stuff. It's really the best stuff. And what I so appreciate about what you're saying, Ocean, is that, you know, I really believe that the more prepared you are to both fill your event and execute your event, the more you can relax and let the things happen through you that are supposed to happen through that event. So I'm really committed to you being as prepared as possible. And as many of you know, I've gone from starting my business with 6 women and then 12 women in my living room, sitting on my couches, to now running a $1 million training company. We have a couple of dozen women who work with us on our team. We took our team to Hawaii last year to celebrate our most abundant year ever. And I commonly now lead events where I do somewhere between $500,000 to $1 million in revenue from services that I sell from the stage. And so over the last years, I've gotten so crystal clear about exactly what is required of you in order to set yourself up for an event that both attracts the right people to you and then sets you up to have this really successful event, so that no matter what happens, no matter what gets thrown at you, you can roll with those changes and you can still rock your events. So I'd like to just take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about the Events That Change Lives training program. I'm going to just share my screen with you so that you can take a look at the slides. And let's see.
While you're getting that started, let me just say this is a really, really exciting part of what's happening here, because I love where the rubber meets the road. I love where we go from theory into action. I love where we actually make it happen for you, for your life, right? You've been hearing a lot of great principles and tips. All of this, ultimately the goal, I think, of this whole live stream and of this whole launch that Sage is sharing, all the videos, all the webinars, is to help you to apply this stuff, to help you to be able to run live events that change lives and get the butts in the seats and earn the money that you need to be able to keep giving your gifts and serving people. So if that's something you want and something you're interested in, then please stay tuned to check out this program, because Sage has created, I think, an absolutely brilliant innovation in terms of helping you to apply all that you're learning step by step in a way that works consistently and in a provable, measurable way.
Thank you so much, Ocean. I actually, for some reason, my screen is not sharing.
There we go. I see your screen.
Can you see the live stream?
Yes, I see Q&A time.
Oh, perfect. Great. So you guys, I actually want to invite you to get in the queue for those of you that have questions, both about the Events That Change Lives training program and for those of you that just want my help supporting you to take the next step in your business. You can call into this phone number. Shannon's going to type this into the chat as well. You've got the pin right here as well. And just call in, and that way we know who needs support so we can make sure to gauge our time accordingly. If you want some laser coaching from me, I highly recommend you step up and hop on the line. We'll take the first callers first, and it's a great opportunity to get some high-level strategic business support on your future events. But I do want to invite you to consider hopping into the Events That Change Lives program today. We opened enrollment yesterday, and enrollment will be open until Friday night. However, there are some bonuses, like Justin mentioned, that you'll get when you hop into the Events That Change Lives training program today, right here on the live stream with us. So I just want to remind you that those are going to be available. And a couple of the stories I do love to tell when I offer this training program is my dear friend and colleague, Susan Pierce Thompson. I just have to tell you the story real quick about when she hired me to lead her event last year. I'm sorry, she hired me to support her while she was leading her event last year. She had never done a live event before. And to this day, she still texts me all the time and says, just so you know, Sage, my live event was my most favorite thing I've ever done in my business. Susan is now reaching almost 500,000 people around the world. She did over $100,000 in revenue from her event. And I just want to tell you, I wanted to tell you her story because events don't just work for business leaders. They work in all industries. Susan is in the health industry. She teaches weight loss. Emily is another one of my clients who actually hated selling. The first time Emily ever came to one of my events, she stood up in front of a bunch of my clients and participants and said, I think selling from stage is tacky. And one of the things I love about Emily is just how transparent she is. And the end result of Emily facing her fear and really being transparent about her true feelings was that, she admitted her resistance to selling from stage partly showed up because it was something that she was meant to be doing as well. And so just a reminder that if you're feeling resistant to using events, if you're feeling nervous or any level of anxiety, I believe that oftentimes those emotions come in almost as a big finger pointing you toward the solution that is waiting for you. And leading events, I really believe out of all of the things that you could be doing to grow your business, leading live events is really in so many ways the most simple and the most effective strategy that you could choose. And I'm getting a little feedback on my line. So if you're getting that too, Ocean, let me know because I want to make sure that we can still, that you guys can still hear me okay. You guys still see me and hear me okay?
You sound good. Your screen just got a little funny, but I think now it's good.
Okay, cool. So the Events That Change Lives program is a 5-week deep dive into everything that you need to know to get started leading live events. And each week, you're going to get a 40 to 60 minute workshop success module. So each week you get a video training that is going to walk you through the nuts and bolts of putting your workshops together and filling your workshops. What I love about the fact that you get a video training is that you actually get to see me delivering the content while I'm on video in front of 80 of my clients. So you're getting the content on 2 levels. You're getting the content in terms of the strategy that you need. And you're also watching me teach to a room full of people. So you're getting to really pick up some of the skills of workshop facilitation. And then each week, you're going to get a live 90-minute Q&A call with myself and some of my coaches so that you can ask us all of the questions that you have. And if for some reason you have to miss that Q&A call, just send in your questions ahead of time and we'll be sure to get your questions answered. You're also going to get all of our templates and scripts. So you get a checklist of all the supplies that we bring to lead our events. You get several sample emails that we send out when we do our filling event campaign. Justin and I were joking about all of the things that our team does to fill events. Well, we actually give you the whole system. So we have a call campaign that goes out, we have emails that go out, and we give you examples of all of those things. So you can just plug your own content and your own titles into those and reuse those. And then you'll also be invited to a private Facebook forum that's just workshop leaders who are all investing and leading their events alongside each other. Ocean, are the slides still coming through okay?
Yep, looking good.
Wonderful. So in the first module, you're going to learn everything you need to know about designing that first event. And in the 6 weeks that we're together, and the reason I'm saying 6 weeks is because we give you a bonus week. In the 6 weeks that we're together, you're actually going to do a beta test of your next event. So it can be in your living room, in your friend's living room. It can even be a sample workshop that you do with a handful of friends. But for most of you, we're going to push you to actually put your next event on the calendar, whether you do it in a bookstore or in a community room at the library. We're going to help you design all the content so that you know exactly what you're going to do from stage. We're going to teach you to fill the event, and you're going to learn how to warm up a cold room when you first get in, right? Because the people who attend your event, they're not going to know each other. So you're going to want to learn how to warm them up. In module number 2, you're going to master making offers from stage. So you're going to learn to turn your participants into long-term paying clients, because you'll know how to create an offer that you feel really authentic making from stage. You don't have to come across as super salesy, but you're going to get the mindset and the actual formula, the 6-step formula that I've created over the last 5 years to making an offer from stage so that the right people who attend your workshop become your clients. Now, just a reminder, this first workshop that you create, it's going to be 2 hours long. Okay, it's not 2 days long, it's just 2 hours long. But now you're gonna have a format that you can take out into the world anytime you need clients. And you're gonna be able to take this 2-hour event out into the world and spend a week or 2 marketing the event, getting people to the event, and then when you deliver the event, you're going to be able to count on a certain amount of people in the room hiring you to be your client. And so this is kind of like a system that gives you insurance so that you always have a way to grow your business. And in module 3, we'll teach you how to craft a story to start your events out with. I bring in a woman named Serena Andrea, who's a master storyteller. She's also friends with Ocean, and she's helped Ocean tell his stories as well. And Serena and I are going to together teach you to choose and really craft a story that mirrors what your clients are struggling with, so that you can tell a story that leads you straight into the content and the offer that you're going to deliver on stage. And I'll remind you guys that content tells, but it's stories that sell. And so when you have that strong story, you're going to be able to that much more effectively use your events to actually grow your business, because there's a difference between learning, using events to just inspire a bunch of people and really using events to attract your ideal clients. And the story that you choose to tell and the offer that you make from stage, that's what sets you apart. And then in module number 4, we're going to be helping you prepare your body, your mind, and your spirit to speak. So you're going to really get a sense of what are the exact strategies and tools to use any nervousness that you have as a way to connect with your audience. And I'm also going to teach you what to wear on stage so that you look great every time. And in module number 5, you're going to learn how to design those breakthrough exercises that Claire and Marcy and Rika and I have been talking about, so that you actually have this incredible facilitation ability to bring into your workshops in addition to the content that you want to teach. So I'll give you everything that you need to know on how to design breakthrough exercises so that people come into your room and have a totally transformational experience. And you're also going to get something that I think is really valuable, and that is, how do you address conflict in the room, right? Because that's something that we're all, a little nervous about deep down, right? What if somebody stands up and like disagrees with me, or what if somebody, is outwardly disrespectful in the room? How do I handle it? Well, we're going to teach you exactly how to handle it so that you can actually use those experiences to deepen people's connection in the room. Now, for those of you that decide to jump in to the Events That Change Lives training program this week, you're also going to get some bonuses that are in addition to the 6 weeks that you'll get to spend with us. The first bonus is, like I mentioned, you're going to get to join us for our live event in April. It's 3 days on the California coast. It's an amazing event. You're going to meet hundreds of other women entrepreneurs that are doing this alongside you. And you're going to learn my love-based launch strategies. So you're going to actually learn the 3 key things that I've done to take my little business from 12 women in my living room to $1 million company. So I'm going to actually teach you the launch plans that I've used in addition to the events that I've used. So don't miss that event. It's an amazing event. You'll get to bring a friend when you sign up through Events That Change Lives. You get 2 tickets. And then I know that many of you are interested in leading retreats, leading 3-day or 4-day or 8-day international retreats. So I brought in retreat leader Morgana Ray, and the 2 of us hopped on a training. It's about 90 minutes long, but it's chock full of everything that you need to know to choose a retreat center and create a 4 to 8 day itinerary that you can use to monetize your retreats and fill your retreats. And this is a picture of me leading my retreat in Bali. I've done several retreats in Bali. I've done retreats in Africa, did a retreat in California. I love retreats, and I want you to have everything that you need to really be able to fill and monetize retreats, because they're a little bit different beast than a traditional workshop. I also realized that some of you might be considering jumping in to the Events That Change Lives training program, and you may be just getting started in your business. And I wanted to be sure that you have enough support to have the Events That Change Lives training program work for you. So I have another course called Niche Clarity that's a 4-step process. It's a proven process. It's helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs get crystal clear on who they're here to serve and what their message is. And what I've decided to do is bonus this training in totally for free when you jump into the Events That Change Lives training program. So the last bonus that I have for you is one that Ocean was a big part of. Ocean and I actually created a training together where we taught, again, 80 or so of my clients to do joint ventures as a way to fill events. Ocean, do you want to say anything about that? Because you're such an expert in joint ventures.
Sure. I mean, when we started the Food Revolution Network, we had no list and no reach, and our success was profoundly propelled forward by partners who spread the word to their email lists. So in this interview, Sage interviewed me on stage in front of a lot of her clients, and she thought that the conversation was so potent that she wanted to make it, asked if she could include it as a bonus here, and I said absolutely. But this is information that hasn't been widely shared. And it's essentially, how have we built a network of more than 400,000 people in the Food Revolution Network through leveraging the power of relationships, ventures. And so it's kind of like you'll learn how you can find your natural allies. This is how you can turn competition into cooperation. You find what people would call your competitors, and you create synergy, where you help their work and they help your work, and everybody accelerates, and you create a snowball effect of growth. And the more that you grow, the more you can give to your partners, which makes them give more back to you as you spread the word about each other's work. So we'll look at how you can, on a micro level, build reciprocal relationships in a community, and also on a macro level, working globally with online, how you can do that as well. And I think, partnership is the key here, and I think it's part of, Sage, what you bring so beautifully is this insight that the old dog eat dog competition mentality that has been characterized, what we've seen as business for so long, has gotten us a world where business is often exploiting the planet, exploiting workers, exploiting people for short-term profit. But what we want is healthy profit that comes from healthy contribution, right? That's why I think everyone who's on here right now is on here. And so I think it's kind of the more feminine approach in a sense, which is a relationship to business that's built on relationships and built on community and built on connection. And in this presentation, we look at where the rubber meets the road of how you can implement that, how you can apply principles of partnership and cooperation with your natural allies, who some would say is your competition, to create a rising tide that lifts all boats.
It's so inspiring. I know. And I was just thrilled to be able to use this training as a bonus because so many of my clients were hungry to get the recording, and we were so on fire about the caliber of information that you brought. And what I love about this package that we've put together is Ryan Eliason is also just incredibly wise about using joint ventures. And when he told me a couple of his strategies, they were so complementary to what Ocean and I taught that I decided to bundle them up and give them to you as the fourth bonus when you jump in. So that was a lot. You're going to get a lot. So let me just do a really quick recap. The Events That Change Lives training program is valued at $19.97, and you'll get the 2 tickets to the 3-day event. You'll also get the How to Lead International Retreats training package. You're also, of course, going to get the 4-step niche clarity course. You'll receive the JV training program on how to partner with other leaders to fill your events. And when you add up the total value of the bonus packages I've put together, it's over $5,000. And this week, when you jump into the Events That Change Lives training program, you'll jump in for the price of $997. So all you need to do is go to sagelevine.com/events. It's at sagelevine.com/events, and join us and join the almost 400 now other workshop leaders who have jumped into the program. And you are going to be surrounded by a community of other event leaders who are going to be doing this alongside you and taking these steps alongside you, whether you're just getting started in your business for the very first time or looking to lead events as a way to take your business to the next level. It's not just going to be me welcoming you in there. It's going to be a whole community of folks.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to jump off in a second here, but I just want to say before I do that I'm just so excited that you're doing this, Sage. You're a genius at helping make the possible practical, at reverse engineering what's worked in your life and sharing it with other people and helping them apply it in a predictable, consistent way that helps them rock their mission. And I love that you're sharing these secrets with so many people. It is an incredible opportunity. If this is something, and again, back to the niching thing, if this is something that's of interest to you for your life and for your path, if you want to use live events to rock your mission, to change lives, to build your contribution and your service and your business, then this is an incredible opportunity to help you do that. And I can't think of a better mentor. So Sage, I want to thank you for your generosity in sharing this with this community, for your integrity that imbues everything that you do, to always be committed to how do we do business differently? How do we do it in a way that's full of love and integrity and values, and that's a stand for the possible world, and that helps to make it real for everybody. So thank you for sharing so generously and abundantly. Thank you for everybody listening right now for your attention and your time and your curiosity into how you can give your gifts. And if this resonates for you, I just want to say this is an incredible opportunity right here and right now to step forward and say yes.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, Ocean. The message that you're bringing to so many, healthy food, healthy planet, it's changed my life. And being your friend and being your colleague has been such an inspiration to me. Thank you so much for being here. I know you've got to run. I know you're doing another interview at the top of the hour. So we love you and we bless you. Have an amazing rest of your day. And to all of you on the line who are thinking about joining us, I really want to reiterate that this is not necessarily just about you. This is about the people that are waiting for you. You know, if Ocean weren't doing his work on the planet, bye Ocean, we love you. If Ocean weren't doing his work on the planet, nearly 500,000 people wouldn't be making the healthy choices that they're making because of the food revolution work. And there really is nobody who can bring your message in the way that you bring it. So if you have that feeling of fear or confusion, or I'm not sure if this is right for me, come up. I'm absolutely here to support you. I want to take your questions and see where you're at. And I invite you to continue to make this decision about the future clients and students who are waiting for you. In a moment, I'm going to have Shannon come on and just let us know what's going on with the chat. Because I'm on Google Hangout, I can't do both at the same time. I can't toggle back and forth, or else there's just not enough bandwidth on my computer to be able to do that. But again, I want to thank you and congratulate those of you who are considering studying with us over the next 6 weeks, and really invite you to consider, you know, are you in a position in your life where 6 weeks from now, you would like to be on the other side of delivering your next workshop or your first workshop, having the confidence that comes from having that thing totally created, totally dialed in. You've had people show up and you've gotten testimonials and success stories from the people who have attended. And you've had us alongside you every step of the way on the live Q&A calls every week, and in the Facebook page, cheering you on and helping you stay out of your head, right? Because it's easy to get caught in fear and confusion when you don't have other people around you taking some of the bold, scary steps that you might be taking. So Shannon, are you there? And how are we doing over on the chat thread? Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, I am here. And we are going to start taking callers. So I've posted the number right there on the chat thread. And when you call in, just hang out on the line. Once you get on and you put in the pin, hang out on the line because we will be answering you. Sage, I noticed when I unmute myself on the caller line, we get a bunch of feedback on your end.
Oh, right. Okay. So let me see if I can take the callers. And in the meantime, I know that we've had at least a few people decide to join us. Who's decided to join us?
Yes, we have Maria from Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada, and Ulrika Shaw, who was on the call with us today from Zurich, Switzerland.
Oh! And Jen just texted me, and that means that in the last 45 hours, or 48 hours, I think we've had over 70 workshop leaders join us from around the globe.
Yep.
It's so exciting, and we cannot wait to support you and see you on the inside of the Events That Change Lives training program. And oh my God, Shannon, I almost forgot. You were actually the deciding factor for me this morning when I decided to extend the time-sensitive bonus. The Enrollment Mastery Training Program is it's a commitment bonus. It's an additional program that we've been gifting every workshop leader who jumps into the course up until now. And Shannon, in talking to you about that this morning, I decided I think we should extend that bonus for one more event. You know, Shannon, you're a coach. For those of you guys that don't know, Shannon is a coach in our programs. And I'm curious for you, Shannon, how have you seen this particular program help to rock it out for our clients in terms of really understanding what the enrollment program is?
Yeah, so enrollment mastery training really is the mother skills of having a really solid enrollment conversation. So it's a perfect compliment for us to give this bonus to you today, because when you're leading live events and you fill the rooms, you need to be able to follow up with those participants and have really strong conversations to get them into a marketable program. So where there's several pieces to this bonus that are the cornerstones of what you'll need to actually get those participants at your live events as paying clients.
Yeah, so this program really solves the problem of, if you're like, great, Sage, I'm going to lead this event and I'm going to do a bunch of work to get people to the event and I'm going to lead this amazing event. I'm going to change some lives, but like, then what? I'm not even quite sure what I'm selling. Well, this program solves that problem. So what we've done is, for those of you that have attended the webinars and you've purchased the Events That Change Lives training program, we have gifted you this commitment bonus because we wanted to do something for those of you who make a decision while you're with us right here, right now, because the truth is that we know that the further away from this conversation you get, the more your fear and the more your gremlins can really seep in and start to convince you that this might not be possible. And I want to assure you that 6 weeks from now, you can absolutely be in the place where you're celebrating your next event, your next workshop, or leading your first workshop, and you've actually even signed up a client or 2 clients or 5 clients as a result of that event. It's absolutely realistic and possible that you can be there. And what I know is that in order for you to feel the confidence to make the kind of decision where you're sort of stepping out on a ledge and you're putting yourself out there, I want to reward you again for making that decision while you're here with us, because when you don't make a decision quickly, it can be like a slow drain on your energy. So again, for those of you who decide to click buy now while we're on the live stream, we're extending that time sensitive bonus all the way up until the moment that this live stream ends. When this live stream ends, you'll get all of the other bonuses, but you won't get the Enrollment Mastery Training Program, which is a 5-module program. Thousands of our clients have gone through it. It's a $997 program. That's what we charge for it. We're gifting it to you as a bonus when you jump into Events That Change Lives, when you decide to make that decision, that commitment decision, when you're on the line with us today. Because what I know as well is that the more you're willing to commit while you're here live with us, the more success you're going to have when you go out into the world. Because let's face it, it's not always easy to stay in our positive vibes of confidence and believing in ourselves when we're out there. And when you're here with us, feeling that sense of possibility, learning to make those quick decisions, that's one of the fundamental leadership skills. The other thing that I can really commit to you while you're here trying to make this decision is I can commit to you that if there's anything about the program that doesn't work for you, you get in the program, you put down your down payment or you pay in full and you get on the inside and you start watching the video trainings. If there's something about the program that really just doesn't end up being a fit for you, we will give you a full refund through week 2 of the program. I just want to make it a no-brainer for you to be able to say yes to yourself right now. And when you head over to the sales page by clicking the button underneath this video, you're going to be able to chat with a bunch of my other incredible coaches who are waiting for you over there on the course description page. So for those of you guys that have more questions about the course, please call the phone number that Shannon is posting in the chat thread so that Shannon and I can talk to you right now. And you can also hop over to that course page and you can chat with a bunch of our team who's over there waiting for you. And I think, Shannon, that we have a couple of questions here on the line. And I'm going to unmute the first caller. And the first caller is last 4 digits 1401. You are live. Can you hear me? Hey, you're live. Can you hear me? Last 4 digits, 1401. You are, I'm not sure what's happening. There's some feedback on the line. I think what we're going to need to do, let's see. Last 4 digits, 1401. Can you hear me? I think what we're going to need to do is have you type your question into the chat. Shannon, I know we've had a bunch of questions come in both through the webcast and through the chat. Yeah. Should we start there?
Yeah, let's start with this. We had a question from Emily in North Dakota. She just graduated from her nutrition certification, and she doesn't even have her business yet, and she loved what you have been talking about. She's never worked with clients, and she wants to know if the Events That Change Lives course would be a good fit for her.
Awesome. And while I'm answering Emily, I also want to encourage you guys to call in to the phone number if you have a question. I want to get as many callers in there as possible because I would like to give it one more try. So don't lose hope. I know we had several of you had called in and then you hung up because of the technical difficulties. So I just really want to underline that we are going to give it a try to give you some live coaching. So get back over there on the phone, dial in on the number that you see in the chat thread. Shannon, the number and the PIN is in there, correct?
Yeah, we've got the number and the PIN there, and maybe putting that slide up.
Yeah.
So check. You got to refresh your chat thread. Just make sure your page is refreshed so you can see it. I've posted it several times.
And Emily, I'm going to answer your question in just a moment. So I'm gonna pop up the phone number again on the live stream so that you guys can see that. Shannon, does that pop up the phone number?
There it is. I see it. Oops. You went fractal on us.
How about that?
Here we go. That's great.
Okay, perfect. So Emily, you just graduated from nutrition school, or you're about to graduate. Either way, the answer is pretty much the same. So here's how to know whether this program is for you or not. The program is for you if you want to start getting clients right away. And here's the thing. What I believe is the sooner you can actually be working with paying clients when you've learned a new modality, really the sooner you can be working with paying clients, the better. Because here's what's true. When you graduate from nutrition school or healing school or Reiki school or business consulting training program, whatever you're getting trained in, you know, the sooner you can actually get paid to give that gift, the better. Because my honest truth for each and every one of you is that if we don't get you making money in a relatively short amount of time, we risk you running out of the passion and the resources to really do an incredible job building your business. You know, if you can't see that there's money coming in a relatively short amount of time, we risk you giving up and deciding to go back and get a job. And I'm here standing for you, getting those paying clients as soon as possible so that you can really receive back the gift that you're out there in the world giving. Now, Emily, in terms of, you know, how long to wait until joining a program like this, the other thing that I really want to reiterate is basically what Marcy was saying, which is that your confidence is going to come with your ability to get out there. So, you know, you may not feel ready yet, but like you heard from so many of our live stream hosts and my fellow experts here today, is that there's no amount of inner work you can do to take the place of your willingness to just get out there and start giving your gift. And even if you've never worked with clients before, I actually believe events are the best thing that you could be doing to get your first few clients. And here's why. At those live events, like Ocean was saying, you're going to be getting that feedback from people. That direct feedback with people's tears, their laughter. You're going to be noticing what they're responding to. You're going to get so much more information about what your clients need by leading live events than anything else you could ever do. And you're going to be able to craft your services and the programs that you put together. You're going to be able to craft those programs to serve the needs of your clients at such a higher level when you actually are interacting with three-dimensional human beings. So I believe it's the best thing you could do to get your business off the ground. Now, I want to go over here and take one or two live callers, or at least give it another try. Remember, the phone number is 425-440-5100, PIN 267090. So I am going to take us off of screen share because I've gone fractal, I think. And I am going to unmute our guest, last four digits, 5145. It's 5145 from Illinois is our first caller. And you are live. Can you hear me? Hey, I can hear you now. Hold on just a second. I don't think we're going to try it this way, everybody. Thanks for being patient with us. All right, you're live. Who am I talking to?
Hi, this is Laura Michelle.
Hi, Laura Michelle. How can I support you today?
Hi, so I am been metaphysician for over 20 years, most of my life, and I'm changing my business model from treating, helping individuals with their intuition to now shifting it towards groups and offering programs for groups on how to do that in their everyday lives, as well as working with someone that wants to go into a deeper soul transformation, and then also to the level of professional, if they would like to.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And so, I'm sorry?
Beautiful. I'm with you.
Okay, so the transition is I've done some workshops, worked with Edgar Casey's Airy, and had quite a number of people in those groups, but they were from that area, and they were the Airy participants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My group. I'm like a brand new business trying to launch off
Yeah.
the ground and starting to put my arms out to magnetize the people towards.
Yeah, you're spreading your wings.
I'm trying. Building a website myself, doing Facebook, and then trying to learn how to, really, as the right people, magnetize them towards what I'm offering. And that seems to be a bit challenging, as well as if I don't even have an email list to send workshop information to. So it's really the very baseline of the build.
Yep, totally. Well, here's the thing, and that's one of the reasons why I stand by this being the very best format and formula that you could use to get your business off the ground, because you don't need a mailing list, you don't need a big database, you don't need a fancy website. All you need is a title and our butts in, and our plan to help you get butts in seats, you know, so that you have the whole plan to help you fill your workshops. And you've got to have the formula to be able to really put a talk together that actually sets yourself up to pull clients out of the room, because it's one thing to just get into a room and inspire people, and it's another thing to get into the room and actually pull the right clients out of the room who want to then join your groups. And Laura Michelle, it sounds like you've been a physician in your past career and you're switching to leading groups. Is that right?
I was an executive vice president in pharmaceuticals.
Oh, nice.
So my background is varied. I have a lot of scientific background, like molecular medicine, and then I also have the juxtapose. I'm also a master's in psychology.
Oh, you're a translator. You're a translator because you understand it from the scientific side, and you also understand it from the metaphysical side.
Right. I'm kind of a little bit of different flower than most.
Yeah, and that's why I think live events is such a good format for you to bring your gift, because you're doing that translation, right, between the metaphysical and the science, right?
Right. And I've done quite a number of speaking engagements. I was constantly leading groups and leading telecons and leading live actual events and trainings, and so I'm very used to and very comfortable speaking to crowds. I just need to garner those crowds now.
Yeah, exactly. You need to garner the crowds. I'm curious, Laura, what are your financial goals? How much money do you need to be making?
That's the hard part, because I was very successful in business, and
so
this is like very, very tangential. My accountant said, wow, you're really going to be having a bit of a couple years of a shock, sticker shock.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's a wonderful challenge to rise up to, right? I've had clients that have needed to replace their income, whether they're a lawyer or a doctor, or whether they're parking cars, doing valet parking at the hotel down the road. So wherever you're starting out is good, but like, what's your baseline that you need to be making with your business? Do you need 10 grand a month? You need $6 grand a month?
An annual that was pretty normal for me was, 400,000.
400,000. Great. So
yeah, I know I don't have any false hopes of grandeur, but I do know that what I have will go like wildfire.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's break that down, shall we? I mean, that's about $32,000 a month, right? And and let's say that you had, 64 clients in a group program paying you $500 a month. Well, that would be your 64K right there. And I'll tell you what, we have 150 clients in our year-long program that pay us anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month, depending on what payment plan they're on. And that gives me a base operating salary of well over $1 million a year, to operate my company from. And then, it gives us an incredible tribe of people who are going deep with our content and having real results, many of whom you saw on the sales page. If you've checked out the course page, you're getting to hear from some of our clients right there. But, 64 clients in a group program it's not out of the question for you within 6 to 12 months of going for it. Now, you might start with 16 clients, and you'll do 100,000 the first year, and then within a couple of years move your way up to 64 clients. But given the passion that you have in your voice and the level of skill you've already acquired, I think you could get there pretty quickly.
I do believe so. I've even offered some different level of membership program.
Yeah, totally.
So there's an opportunity for monthly videos and monthly downloads. And
so can I give you a piece of advice about membership programs?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Any business consultant who knows what they're talking about is going to tell you that you want to build your mailing list up to about 10,000 people before you launch a membership program. And here's why. Membership programs where people spend like $100 a month, $50 a month, like those lower price points. What you end up creating is you create a bunch of clients who need client support. They need customer support. So now you need an assistant, right? And you've got to take care of all those people, but they might be only paying you $100 a month. Now, in the beginning, I'll be honest, it's going to take you pretty much as much work to get people into a membership program as it is to get people into a $500 a month program. Because, right?
I want to work those people at the higher level, that deeper level. I don't want to do the nickel and dime. Because I'm shifting over from the one-off. And I've helped people along the way, and I've been grateful for that opportunity. But it's not where my focus and where I'm being guided is to help broader.
Again, we need to get you making money so that you can keep serving other people. And the fastest way for any of you, the fastest model for any of you to actually get you monetizing your gift is to get you selling a little bit of higher end programs. And what these events do is they help you create that intimacy with the people who attend the events. And so then when you get on a one-on-one conversation with them, and they might be thinking about hiring you or jumping into your group program at $500 a month, they're going to be that much more already connected to you and trusting of you. They're already going to see you as a credible expert. Does that make sense? And so your ability to actually enroll from those conversations it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was training smaller groups, 7 or 8, and again, it was at that level, the higher, deeper level, because my time was involved at a large amount. And if I broaden that group and still invest that time with them, it would help more people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm curious, Laura Michelle, if you were going to jump into the Events That Change Lives training program, what would you want to get out of it?
I would definitely want to get out of it. I'm a scientist, so the linearness of it, the formulation, a framework and a structure of the how. A lot of, I'm certainly researching things online, and a lot of them aren't particular about the how. The how is so critical.
The how is critical. Yeah, you're going to love when you see the 6-step offer formula and when you see the recipe for how we break down creating your story, the story that you tell on stage, you're just going to geek out on it, because I'm a structure girl like you. I actually need the checklist. I need the how. I need to know what to do first, second, and third. And really, when you guys are beginners, you really need that yourself, because you need a plan that you can really rest into. One of the biggest enemies that we have as entrepreneurs is that there's so many different things that we could be doing to grow our businesses. It's so easy to spin out into a feeling of confusion and overwhelm, and then we just stop because we don't know what to do. And then we start thinking, maybe I should go back and get a job. You have to have a proven plan that you can trust is going to work for you on a daily and weekly basis. And this really is that plan. It's a plan you can rest into. It's proven. It's worked for over 1,000 aspiring workshop leaders and event facilitators that came before you. And it will work for you too. So it would just be an honor to get to serve you. For some of you on the line, and for a couple people I talked to, in the last few days, this program was not the right fit. But based on your level of, based on the content that you want to bring with the combination of the science and the teaching people about their intuition, I mean, you really are a perfect fit for this program.
Awesome. I also saw a link to one of my other emails for your forum, and would love if you would send that to the Soul Sanctuary Gmail.
Great.
Soul Sanctuary Global.
Of course. We'll absolutely take care of you in that way. And if you don't for some reason hear back from us, just email back to support@sagelevine.com. We've had so many thousands of people tapping into the videos and the content over the last few days. We might be a little bit behind on our email support, but we'll definitely add you to the Workshop Leader Facebook page. And yeah, it's absolutely exciting what you're up to. I'm so thrilled for you and for your just really for the future people who you're going to be changing lives.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the types of people that you're also magnetizing to your events, because they are like-minded, heart-centered type of thinkers that I would like to JV with, partner with, have those types
totally.
of collegial relationships with. That is just going to be astronomical.
Oh yeah,
the women are going to
once you get into the program, actually, I'd like to introduce you to a couple of our clients. Write this down. We have a client named Megan Edge, who's in the healing arts. She certifies healers in Canada. She's at 6 figures and just published a book. We also have a client named Mother Claire, who is a minister and who has recently been filling group programs and just rocking it, absolutely rocking it out. So once you get on the inside, write those 2 names down, Mother Claire and Megan Edge, and we'll be sure to make those introductions. Are you hopping into the program, Laura?
I'm thinking about it. I've got to take a look at all the financial obligations of it and what those are involved, but I'm definitely interested in that and the offering that you have. Or I wouldn't have taken hours out of my day to no, I don't waste my time.
Awesome.
To be honest, I don't.
Awesome. You don't.
I don't want to waste anyone else's time.
You don't.
It's not who I am or what I'm about, and so I'm all out of efficiency.
Oh, beautiful. You don't sound like somebody who's going to waste anybody's time, including your own. I totally appreciate that about you. And is there anything else that that you need to know from me?
Not that currently not now. I really appreciate your time and energy and putting this forth, and I'm really excited about everyone's future on this and wish the best for you and everyone at your organization as well in your future endeavors. So thank you so very much.
You're so welcome. Do you have a title for your next event?
I just did an event, and I'm trying to decide which of the offerings I want to start out with. That was the other thing, because I learned from a Magnetize event with Justin about the titling and all of that.
Hey there. It looks like Sage just dropped off, and we're here on still going live. We lost Sage, but we had a couple people just hop into the program. So I want to read off those names. We have Danielle Goulet from Denver, Colorado. Welcome. We have Erica Fay from Lenox, Massachusetts. Carla Lang from Ontario, Canada. Teresa Werner from Depot Bay, Oregon. So awesome. People are hopping in. We're up to over 70 participants. And here's Sage.
Hi, you guys. I'm back. We're getting the title from Laura Michelle, so I can give her feedback on her title to make sure people are going to show up for her workshop. What's your title, Laura Michelle?
Hang on one sec. I'm just opening it. I apologize. I didn't realize you were gonna
I was gonna put you on the spot for free coaching from the live event master herself.
No worries at all. I just I didn't have it readily open. So sorry.
It's okay. It's totally okay. I am going to congratulate again every single one of you who is stepping into a future of leading live events. I just had a few questions pop across the Facebook page. One of the questions that popped across the Facebook page is, when are the Q&A calls? From somebody in Australia. So the Q&A calls are at I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, Sebastian, they're at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays, and they're all recorded. So you'll get the replays. You'll get the replays within just a few minutes after the Q&A call. If you can't make it, you'll be able to listen to the replay. And if you aren't able to make it, if you have questions, just send your questions in the night before, and we'll be sure to get all of those answered for you. Did you find it, Laura?
I did find the title. If it's still available to run it by her.
What do you got?
3 simple protection secrets that successful people know, which helps them with relationships, business, and health, and how to avoid these challenges.
Nice. I love it. I love the direction you're going. And I'll be honest with you, it's a little too long. I totally feel that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And
struggled with that. I definitely didn't like the length of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a couple of tips when you guys are coming up with your titles, and definitely you can type your titles into the chat thread below, and we'll give you feedback on a few more of your titles, so that a few of you can get feedback before we pop off today. But you're going to want to keep it in 12-year-old language and as simple as possible. So 3 secrets that successful people know. Say the last part for me again.
Which helps them with relationships, business, and health, and how to avoid these challenges.
Great. So really, you're a mindset expert, wouldn't you agree, Laura? Like, you're doing more of the inner work than the outer work.
I'm doing the inner work that will unfold as beautiful outer work.
Okay, great. So here's the problem with promising a transformation in business and health and relationships, all in the same title. You start to lose our trust that you can actually help us, because we don't know who you are yet. And so it's one of the reasons why when my clients come to study with me for 6 weeks, I'm very specific about what you guys are going to get out of being with me for 6 weeks. You're going to design and create an event that will work to get you clients. It's going to work to get you paying clients. That's my area of expertise. I've helped thousands of people to do it. I'm very confident I can help you to do it. I'm not promising you're going to be a millionaire in 6 weeks, right? I'm promising you one very specific thing. And the more specific you can get, just to get off the ground, Laura, just to get yourself known, to start building yourself a platform, the more you're really going to stand out. So what I'm feeling intuitively is just that, like, you have this set of, you have awareness about how the inner unlocks the outer, right? How does that inner work actually create outer results in people's lives? And I think that's what we can start highlighting for you when we land on the ideal title for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it does affect all of these facets of their life. And over the past 25 years, I've seen it happen, working with groups and individuals and those types of things. So, of course, people do not know who I am, and they need to build that trust and that understanding that what I'm saying and what I'm telling them can become actual and realized.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I'm also guessing that they need to see you in action in the room, because when you start working individually in front of a room full of people, that's where they're going to be able to see your magic.
Yeah, the magic happens there. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I read into someone as well as if they, open the door and allow that and work with them to a degree and level that's at a soul level.
Yeah. Yeah. You keep saying that word soul. I feel like that may be a part of, the hook for the title that we're wanting to pull out of you. It's almost like, the 3 simple, it's like where science meets the soul.
Well, yeah.
What were you going to say? What's your tagline?
Enlightenment for your soul.
Enlightenment for your soul. And
Yeah.
when people get that sense of enlightenment, what does that give them?
It gives them the ability to have better relationships, whether it's professional or personal.
But what specifically are they doing in that relationship that makes it better? That's what we want to get to. Let me just say one more thing about this. So for every single one of you, when you guys, no, it's okay. When you guys are determining your title, you need to be sure that you choose a title that does what I call downstream marketing versus upstream marketing, which means that you don't have to go out there and describe to people why they need your services, right? They know that they need your services because you're talking about the very thing that they complain to their friends about, right? That's downstream marketing, when you're giving people a solution to their most urgent problem. So for you, Laura, you're getting closer. So what specifically do they do in relationships that makes them have those relationships improve?
It's intuitively understanding the other person. We work on communication skills and more so listening skills, and intuitively getting where that person's coming from.
Awesome.
Because in most of the relationships, it kind of breaks down around the communication. That's my psychology degree coming into play.
Yes.
But intuitively really honing in with that person and understanding, oh, today they're not feeling so well, so they're not going to take this joke that I would normally tell them and, give them a jab. They're not going to be okay with that. They're having something go on, and I can feel it intuitively, and I can tell it intuitively. So I need to be a bit more soft in my cadence.
I kind of feel like you're an intuition expert, Laura. I kind of feel like I want to come to your workshop just to learn how to trust my intuition, right? So why? Why not just say that? $50 million
deals, I know if this person's going to buy it or not.
Yeah. Why not just say that? Three simple secrets to trusting your intuition to guide you to the $1 million deal every time. Yeah. You better believe I'd be at that workshop. And if you're on the line and if you would attend Laura's workshop, let her know, give her feedback. I think we're on the right track, Laura. I'm loving it. I'm so loving it.
I appreciate it so very much and what you're doing and the people you've had on. I really like Ocean. I subscribe to him and Justin as well, and a lot of the same collegial people to learn from and grow with. So really appreciate the gathering.
No, you're so welcome. And what's your last name so I can keep an eye on you, keep an eye out for you on the inside? Laura. Laura Michelle, wonderful. I hope I get to see you in April. It would be amazing to have you at the event. I think that you would find that you have a room full of entrepreneurial women rock stars to start joint venturing with.
And I love that you're promoting women, because I've been the only woman in the corner office at the executive level, and these boys need some ladies up there to show them how actually we do the business.
These boys need some ladies to show them how to do it. I agree. I so totally agree. All right, so I'll see you in April.
Lovely. Thank you.
I can't wait to.
Time and really appreciate it.
I can't wait to meet you. Mwah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, beauty. We have another caller, but I want to check in with Shannon. Is my sound okay? Can people hear the callers on speaker? I probably have, I have time. I know I have another afternoon meeting too, but I have time for at least one more caller. How are we doing on the chat, Shannon?
We're doing great on the chat. Several questions have come through, but I have another caller, 7071, waiting for you right now. And your sound is coming through okay with your method here.
Not too bad. Awesome. Wonderful. And when I come back to you, let's make sure to welcome anybody else that's jumped into the training course. And let's take last four digits, 7071. You are live from Tucson, Arizona. Hey, can you hear us? Eternity Summer. Hey, can you hear me? Hold on, my team has a message for me here. Okay. So my love, how can I support you? What's your first name?
Summer.
Oh, hi, Summer. How can I support you?
Hi, Paige. Hey, I tuned in a little bit late to your presentation, so I didn't really, I think I got in on tip number 7. And but the whole thing still appeals to me. My question for you is that I have done seminars for the last 40 years, and so I'm somewhat familiar with what's required for doing that. At a certain point, however, I took a break. I went more into business coaching, and then went into just doing private work on the phone. And at this point, I'm looking, and my business partners have moved to another country. So at this point, I'm looking to re-engage in doing live events and doing more events than right now. I have a call where I have a coaching of 5 people on the phone, and we go through a breakthrough process. But I'm looking at taking it bigger. And since I didn't hear everything that you're offering, I'm just wondering, is there a way that I can re-listen to it now so that I know for sure if I can sign up?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to open up the live stream for replay this afternoon. So you'll get an email about that. The live stream will be open for replay for 24 hours. There's also a webcast that we did a couple of times yesterday and once on Monday that you can have a listen to, where I teach kind of the #1 mistake that tends to keep rooms empty. So you'll get a lot of good content from plugging into either or both of those. And of course, the 3 videos are still up for those of you that just kind of joined our tribe in the last 24 hours. We have a 3-part video series that you can check out at eventsthatchangelives.com. And you'll take a quiz called What Type of Workshop Leader Are You? And then based on your workshop leader type, we'll give you some great information to help you get out there. But I'm curious, in the meantime, Summer, it sounds like you're wanting to get back into live events. How can I support you with that just in the next few minutes? What's the topic of your events?
It's personal growth, and it is tools and technologies for us being able to shift out of a limited context of being stuck in denial and addiction, and how to shift into a context of connection, openness, and freedom.
Beautiful.
And so over the years, I've called it all kinds of things. I'm up for a new name right now, but that's the idea of it, is empowering people to be reality artists and giving them the tools so that they actually can embrace the stuff that's not working rather than try to get away from it, and really receive the gifts of whatever those breakdowns and difficulties are, so that they can move forward really in the truth and have access to what's truly next for them.
Isn't that so true? And Summer, the one word that you shared that really stood out for me and set you apart from any other expert out there is addiction. I have friends that I know have struggled with some level of addiction, whether it's an addiction to food or an addiction to love or addictive qualities. And I feel like that's something that you shared that really could help you stand out. How would you feel about using that as a part of your platform in the future?
I think I definitely could. The other thing that goes along with it, hand in hand, is the early life stage development where those addictions started.
Yeah.
And the only concern I have about the word addiction is just how people relate to that instantly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might not see it as a process addiction or a healing addiction or some of those things that really most people have until they really engage that understanding and look into it.
Absolutely. And when people get free from the addiction, they have the freedom that comes, and it could be that it's wiser for you to actually also package up the results, right? The freedom, the ability to make quick decisions, the ability to trust themselves more, the ability to create their relationships or their careers in alignment with who they really are.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It's like there's this amazing outcome. And it seems to me that people know that they're stuck to some degree and aren't having what they want. And they also know that there's this whole world where they're free and enlightened and having great relationships. And I'm wondering if a way to focus, a place for me to focus, is the contextual shift that's required in order for that change to happen, and how to make the shift. Because
yes.
in my experience, most people don't know how to make that shift.
Yes, make the shift stick. Get unstuck. We're definitely narrowing in on it. I think it's something right in there. Make the shift stick. Get unstuck. So I wanna just really reiterate. We're going to be cutting off the live stream. I realize that we're at the 3.5. We're at the 3.5 hour mark. So what I realize is we're going to be cutting off the replay. So for those of you that are watching the replay, we love you. Goodbye. You're amazing. Thank you so much for watching the replay. The enrollment for Events That Change Lives will be open until Friday at midnight Pacific time. Now, for those of you who are here with us live, if you want the opportunity to get in on an additional bonus course, my team is just reminding me to be sure that we're really clear. We've had some questions. For those of you that want the opportunity to get access to our enrollment mastery course, this is our mother skill program for those of you that want to build out the actual program that accompanies your live events. For those of you that want to take advantage of that time-sensitive commitment bonus, all we need you to do is to type your name into the chat. Let us know who you are and where you're from. Let us know that you're in the process of making the decision with our sales team over there, with our amazing coaches over there on the course page. And as long as we have your name down before you hop off the live stream, we're going to grant you access to that additional training program, okay? So type your name in and we'll be sure to put you on the list to be eligible to get the commitment bonus. Now, back to you, Summer. I want to make sure that we leave you in a place where you feel empowered about what you're ready to go do. I love this direction of getting unstuck and really freeing yourself from those addictions. I'm curious for you, how many clients do you need? You're just getting back into it. How much money do you want to be making?
I'd like to get started at $100,000 a year.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's about $8,000 a month. Do you have any clients right now?
Yeah. I do. Not a lot of them. The ones I have are very long term. And then I am still connected with my business partners. And I have a very small email list that we're restarting. And so for me, it's really starting from the ground up again with some experience and familiarity with it.
Awesome.
You know, the other thing, Sage, that happened, I'm almost 70. I'll be 70 this
summer. I love it.
Yeah. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I've got now like so many years of mastery of so many things that I can share. But I think part of what happened for me is that I got a little bit lost in the shuffle when everybody went online.
Yeah.
And I wasn't up on the technology, and I just started feeling like it was kind of all passing me by.
Yeah.
So how do I get in there?
Yeah. Well, you get in there by doing exactly what I'm telling you to do. I can assure you that leading these events is going to help you grow your mailing list. You're going to be able to capture video testimonials from the people that come to your events. You're going to have everything that you need. So when you do, if you want to get online within the next 6 months to 12 months, you're actually going to have a shot at standing out online. You guys, the online world is loud and crowded. That's why we need to get you connected with people three-dimensionally and in person so you can really stand out with your events. And you can absolutely use the clarity and the marketing materials and the relationships that are going to come out of these live events to then get online and actually stand out. Because when you get online now, Summer, you're going to have something that you know converts. You know, you're going to be able to practice everything that you're up to with real live three-dimensional human beings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So
You mean in your course?
yeah, exactly. Well, no, I mean, when you start leading, when you start doing live events using the format that we teach you and in the course, you're going to be able to gather success stories from the people that come to your events. Even if you just do 2-hour events at the local bookstore or in your living room, you're going to be able to gather success stories from those folks who attend. You'll be able to even, bring in a videographer at some of your events, or bring in a friend with an iPhone and capture some of your participants on video. And you're going to be able to test your titles live and in person with people, so you know what titles people are most drawn to. And that way you're going to have all of that prepared. You're going to have all of those marketing materials prepared. So when you are ready to get online, you're going to make a much bigger splash online. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. When you use these 2-hour workshops to gather the interest of people who are considering becoming your clients, then what happens is, Summer, about usually what we've seen from doing this for 6 or 7 years now, 20 to 40% of the people who attend your events are going to become your clients. If you do a good job of making your offer, it's very common that you could convert at least 1 in 4 people who attend your events to become paying clients of yours. Now, I'll be honest with you, those numbers do not translate online. Okay, so let's say that you wanted 10 clients, right? If you had 10 clients paying you $500 a month, well, that would be $10,000 a month. That would be $5,000 a month right there, right? That would be $5,000 a month. That would get you a really nice start toward your 6-figure income. So let's say you want 10 new clients. Well, in order to get 10 new clients, if you're doing live events, live workshops, you really only need to pull together about 40 people into a room in order to pull 10 clients out of a room. But if you hold on, let me just finish. So if you wanted to pull 10 clients off of a webinar or a live stream like the one you're watching me do right now, if you wanted to pull 10 paying clients off of that, you would need at least 1,000 people signed up for the webinar, because it's really about 1% of webinars and live streams that convert into paying clients. You know what I mean? So yeah, what's your question?
So part of what you're teaching is how to do this in person in my local area.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to teach you how to do it in your local area. One of the things that you're going to love is that we had a beautiful woman on the webinar yesterday who is 75 years old and starting her business, and she is determined to start her business. And
that's great.
And then we have a client. I have to tell you a quick story about my client, Beth McKinnon. Beth is 74 years old, and she teaches women to find their purpose during the second half of their life. She says it's never too late to recreate. And Beth started her business when she started her business when she was 70, and now she has a very successful business, making between $4,000 and $8,000 a month. She's, working very part-time, and she loves what she does. So I just want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for, reinventing yourself. You're going to be such a mentor to so many.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
so next step was to sign up on the webcast for some bonus. I don't see exactly where to do that.
Yeah, so right underneath the video of me, you should see a button that says something like, I don't know, Shannon, what does it say? I'm blind over here. I think it says
check out the training program here.
There you go. Oh, sorry, we're getting feedback from this whole conference line experience. Sorry, you guys. So Summer, when you click over on that button, you'll be taken to the course page, and you'll see all of the structures and the templates and the checklists, and you'll see the breakdown of the entire program that you're going to get when you jump in.
Okay, I'll if I get close to my computer, I'm on the phone, so it's that's causing the feedback.
No problem.
When we get off, I'll go back over there and find that button.
Yeah, we're gonna send you out an email with a link as well, and you can also go to sagelevine.com. It's just my name, sagelevine.com/events. I'm curious, Summer, if you do decide to join us, what do you want to get out of the program?
I feel so blessed that I know what I want to do. I have 40 years of mastery at doing it, and if I could just actually create a format for being able to do it, I'd be happy, because what it offers people, like the people that have experience being exposed to these tools and are making them their own, they just feel so empowered in their lives. And with how things are right now in the world, I figure the main thing that all of us can do is shift into that context where we are the resolution, and we're free, and we're good.
Yes.
And the more of us that are doing that, the more that energy prevails, and it becomes an option that other people can see. And it's kind of like the ultimate grassroots shift that can be made in our own bedrooms, bathrooms, and kitchens, and actually make a difference energetically on what's going on the planet.
Oh my gosh, you are a powerhouse. I can feel the passion coming through your line. Absolutely. You are coming through loud and clear. I am so inspired by what you're bringing to the world. And you're right. It's time to economy proof our businesses by really, truly getting out there with the message that we have. And I love how grateful you are for your own clarity about what you want to do with your life. Like, just the gratitude for that in and of itself is so powerful. It's going to help your clients find you. Should I look for you on the inside of the Events That Change Lives training program?
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
Just need to get more information and see, how to sign up and how much it costs and all that. But it sounds like a very good fit.
We'll get you all the details. Summer, what's your last name?
Eternity.
Summer Eternity. I've got your name written down. I'm going to let my team know that if you make a decision by tonight, we'll be sure to get you all the bonuses so that you can take advantage of the Enrollment Mastery Training course that accompanies the Events That Change Lives training program.
Great. Thank you so much, Sage.
You're so welcome. I'm so absolutely delighted to meet you and to meet another incredible goddess who's bringing her wisdom and love to the planet through the form of live events. And I so agree with you. It's never, ever, ever too late. It is absolutely never too late to get back in the game and use events to grow your business. And I know that we've had some more action on the chat thread. Shannon, how are we doing over there?
We are doing fabulous. This has been such an amazing call with Ocean and Claire and Rika and Justin. And what we have is we have 3 new buyers since I last announced. So I just want to announce their names and welcome you to the Events That Change Lives program. We have Antigone Cook from Corvallis, Oregon. We have Susan Parker from Cazenovia, New York. We have Bonnie Bonomo from Charlotte, and it looks like that is in North Carolina. Welcome to the program. And over on the chat thread, which has been really active, just tons of inspiration, we have people posting their titles and some questions, and hopefully we were able to get to everyone today.
I love it. I also am able to see some of the names coming across my screen here from our other shopping cart. I know we just had Pam jump in from Ojai and Catherine jump in from Australia. We had Betsy jump in from Los Angeles and Wendy from, I think, also from Australia. We're going to have some Aussies in the program.
We do. We are super international.
Jean from San Luis Obispo. I love San Luis Obispo, and I love Australia. I dove the Great Barrier Reef a few years ago, and it totally changed my life. So beautiful, aspiring workshop leaders and event facilitators. One last reminder that the three training bonus that we're offering here on the call today, where you get Events That Change Lives training program, you also get the Niche Clarity training program, and you get the time-sensitive commitment bonus of the Enrollment Mastery training program. That is going to be a gift to those of you who make sure that we have your names before we hang up the lines. So now is the time. You have a crossroads in front of you. You have the opportunity to step onto a path that's going to take you to a structure and a format that's really proven to help you get your gifts out there. And really, truly, I believe, especially with all the changes that are happening in the world, regardless of the political climate, the economic climate that we may find ourselves in the coming months or year, I want you to have the skills to, no matter what happens in your life, go out and get clients. That is my commitment to you. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to have an insurance policy. You have to have a way that you can trust is going to work no matter what's happening around you, to go out there and be able to give your gift in exchange for the money that you need to live. That's the difference between you having a hobby and you having a really lucrative, abundant business. And I'm so blessed to be at the point in my company where, you know, we have the events and the tools and the systems in place to fill our own workshops. And I get to show up and give my gift. And I get to have this incredible team of women, including Shannon, supporting us behind the scenes to fill those events and to take care of all of the incredible clients that have said yes to having their lives changed through our programs. And I want the same thing for you. You know, I work 12 days a month or less. I don't work all the time. I don't like to work all the time. I believe that one of the reasons why we became entrepreneurs in the first place is to live lives of freedom and possibility, where we can work from anywhere in the world. We can work with who we want to work with, when we want to work. And I also believe in giving back. You know, our clients build businesses that include some sort of a humanitarian give back. I had a client last year who designs websites, and she loves zebras. So anytime anyone got a website designed from her, they would also be saving a zebra. And that was a message that had, you know, it started to set her apart in her marketing because of her commitment to giving back. So what I know is that when you use live events to grow your business, you can have those live events be fundraisers for humanitarian causes that you believe in. You can partner with other nonprofit organizations. It's one of the things that we teach when we bring in Ocean Robbins and Ryan Eliason for the bonus training on joint venture partnerships in the Events That Change Lives training program. So from my heart to yours, I've spent the last 5 years gathering all of the information that you're going to find in the Events That Change Lives training program. And my promise to you, if you're on the fence and considering joining us, my promise to you is that I will do everything in my power to help you be successful with live events. The world is waiting for you. They're not just waiting for someone like you. Your clients, they're actually waiting for you. There's a message that you can bring in a way that only you can bring it, right? There's a way that there are people out there that are waiting to hear the medicine or to hear the strategy through your life experience. You've been through things that other people haven't been through. You have the right recipe to deliver the gift to the people that are waiting for you. They're not just waiting for someone like you, they're actually waiting for you. And so I look so forward to supporting those of you that are jumping in to the Events That Change Lives training program. Make sure we get your name on the chat thread before you hop off the line so you'll be eligible for the bonus. Hop over onto the course page. We can't wait to take care of you there. And keep watching the videos. Take the quiz if you haven't already at eventsthatchangelives.com. We love you. Thank you so much, Shannon, for backing us up. We bless you guys. Have an amazing afternoon and keep rocking your events. You can totally do this. I promise. Mwah.